Tomorrow, you can come tomorrow, Manis, and get your SSD. It's already got World of Warcraft pre-installed. What?
Nothing. It's not like I'm not going to copy like my version with my add-ons and such. But I'll back yours up in case we ever need it.
That's the only thing it actually has on it, so you can simply not.
I'm not necessarily sure if we have all the professions here, though.
What are we missing?
I don't know.
Well, give me a second. I'll.
And whatever is missing, what's the minimum level we require to get the shit done?
75, I think.
I don't have that high of an engineer, but I do have. I think my my paladin is actually higher than that, but my paladin is only 115, unfortunately.
I have engineering on my rogue, but I don't think I have a single skill point on it.
Okay, so we will need alchemy, engineering, and blacksmith, but mostly
I have
engineering
alchemy.
and blacksmith. Yeah.
Craig has blacksmithing on his DK, I think.
Alchemy, I don't have. Engineering, I don't have.
It's only
blacksmith
engineering.
I mean, blacksmith 108. So I think I can do it. Whatever we need to do.
Yeah, we're fine. It's only engineering, I think.
I think I think you guys have the achievement, right? The losing my profession. You
I
and
have
Craig.
it. So
Yeah.
I can step out if you can get someone with engineering.
I think Craig has an engineer character that he might be able to bring in just in order to engage the boss so we can kill it. Because you don't need to do anything else to it, right? You just need to summon it and just kill it.
Yeah, literally that.
Yeah, very weird.
What exactly?
I'm not exactly certain. Like, it feels like I'm having lag issues, but I don't know where from.
Could be a wetware issue.
What?
Wetware.
We'll see. I don't know what wetware is. Sorry.
You.
Yeah, it's
Dumbass.
the user.
Ah.
It's a more fancy term of saying it's the user's fault.
Yeah. Windows determined the error is between the chair and the keyboard.
Oh yeah.
No, it seems that Borealis is laggy a bit.
Inside the dungeon is just fine though.
I'm assuming so. Usually dungeon servers are okay.
Yeah.
What the hell? You know that place where you put in keystones and such?
Yeah.
This dungeon actually has 2 of them.
What? Okay,
I
there's one
jumped
here next to
down
me.
Yeah, but there's one down. I jumped down the docks, so I'm like on the lower platform below you right now. And there's one inside under here. Insert mythic keystone. I actually never knew that. The shit part though is that I'm gonna need. There is no stairs up. Fuck.
I think my mouse just stopped working. No. It's just iffy.
You are iffy.
Can I get a summon?
Come on, Lach, let's summon Yuan because he's stuck.
Yeah, there are no stairs up.
We could have used Alina's summoning stone.
She's not here. We probably we're going to summon her as well.
Craig can only stay for 30 minutes, it says. Alright, let's do this. I got summoned. I'm fine.
I'm assuming I'm DPSing, yeah. Well, DPSing, that's a generous term.
Nope, I'm lagging. Like, I'm seriously lagging.
Yeah, I'm not generating any energy.
And it's not from me. I think.
Evade, evade, evade. What the hell?
Where the hell did Craig go?
I don't know.
I think we need to summon him. He might have fallen through the floor.
No, he's back here. Like, he's behind us.
Oh, did he die?
No, he didn't. I think he wasn't in the dungeon.
No, I remember this. I distinctly
There was-
remember an Avenger shield flying towards the first set of mobs. You know, the Captain America bullshit.
Could have he fell in the water and walked back?
No. Also, Monis, I think I just found the one man that actually likes the man-bear pig for the druid.
Me?
Silvio. No. I said man. Well, then again, that's a stretching. I'm stretching the definition for him as well. So.
Oh yeah, cookies. Thank you for cookies.
Thank you for the little bonbons.
This is the engineering one, I think.
Yeah, this definitely is engineering.
The benefit though is that it's really close to the entrance, so it's easy to get someone to help out with that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Starting to enjoy Feral. That's bad.
Used to it if you're going moon.
Of course.
Any achievement here?
I don't think so. I think the last boss have one.
God fucking damn it, this lag is fucking insane.
There is another one on Lockwood. Never let Red Captain Lockwood keep away while she has it. the group.
Let me check, cause he should still be in that group. This group, sorry.
Send him another invite, Manis.
There's no invite. I can't send him another invite.
Can't you add people to the group?
Yes, you can.
So, do that.
I cannot add him to the group because he's already in the group.
Well, then remove him and invite him again.
I don't think you can remove people from this kind of group. Like, they really fucked shit up when it comes to Battle.net voice now. The UI is terrible.
Let's remove from...
Let's see if I can remove him. Remove from chat, yeah, I can.
This one has an achievement.
Because you get no notification when you're added to this new system. And what is said achievement?
I don't know. We started before I got to check out this one. It is, don't let Lockwood leap away while she has the evasive aura before defeating her.
When is she setting up defensive aura, whatever?
I know. I don't remember. Nice. You should go DPS 2 then.
Yeah. I'm doing that right now. So basically we're nuking.
Yep.
Did we fail it?
No, she doesn't. She has to never fire. You need to nuke her.
It failed.
Resetting? Can we reset?
Can't reset.
So we're killing her?
No, we are resetting.
Oh.
Yeah, we're
resetting this way. I got it.
suiciding it. Yeah.
to nuke the cannoneer faster, I think.
Before that barrage thingy?
Yeah. Because she jumps away and spawns those 3 heads.
Okay, so to recap, we're all 5 DPSing her as much as we can before she shoots the ship. That's the whole spiel.
No, you just attack her when she jumps away and spawns ads. You need to nuke the cannoneer.
Ah, okay.
Because the cannoneer is in charge of the cannons.
What the fuck are you doing on that mechanical chicken, man?
A random mount. That went well. Let me go back to Holy. Oh damn it. I don't have... Oh, I actually do have some water. Is this Void's chicken better?
Much.
Don't make me want to have chicken.
Fucking banana.
Now you sleep?
Which is kind of funny since... don't get me started about that. It's kind of funny since I have 4 legs. You know?
Yeah, well, you're a clumsy cat, that we know.
Yeah, apparently.
Someone never saw Bambi.
I think I saw it once when I was a kid. It traumatized me and never again.
That traumatized you? That means you didn't see Watership Down.
No, I
You should
haven't.
see Watership Down. If you think Bambi was traumatic, you know nothing.
Bro, there's like people that actually watched Cannibal Holocaust, so yeah.
Yeah, but then again, Cannibal Holocaust wasn't, you know, made for children, was it?
Fair point, fair point.
Watership Down is an animation for children.
Oh, okay.
Reminds me of this fucked up British children's TV show about like a bunch of animals living in a forest and having to escape.
That's it.
Oh, is
Ah.
that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah. With the
Yeah,
rabbits.
that was fucking traumatizing.
With the rabbits, right?
I think that literally the first episode is like some animals being like run over in the road.
Like I said, with rabbits, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like
the one.
everything.
That's the one.
Blacksmith? This is where we blacksmith.
If you want, I can get my paladin here.
Putting on something stuff.
I can't interact with it.
But my paladin is 115.
Should that you can't enter a mythic that.
Yeah, he's way too low level.
Aiko though is, so if you change to your DK. You don't need to tank on this one, it's just a simple mini-boss-ish type of thing.
Yeah, but if... I'm not sure what kind of character Craig is bringing, so that's what I'm asking.
A tank. Well, tank capable, if nothing else.
Okay. Fine, fine.
I should remove the paladin and add Aiko.
Oh, one moment. And invite Craig, invite Aiko. Okay.
Also for efficiency.
The biggest one's up in the bed, and the small one is trying to bite her tail off, and this one, the big one, is looking at it like it's stupid or something. What the fuck is she trying to do?
What's the name of the last one you guys need? It's called profession something.
Losing my profession, so we need... Wait,
Liz Vilepot.
yeah, that's the alchemy one,
3000.
and Threshinator is the one at the entrance that we need
Yeah, we
an
need
engineer.
the engineering thing.
Yeah.
What's with the crew on our left?
I think that's a wall quest, yeah. We can do it, I think it gives something. Let me check. What does it give? It doesn't show.
Well, they're in our way, so...
Artifact. War resources.
War resources are actually useful.
Assuming you don't already have, like, 10k of them, yeah. I suppose.
You do world quests. I don't do anything.
I haven't done a world quest in... wow. I need to pick it up since it's the event for this week, but yeah.
Let me share it. Did that work?
Nope.
No, of course it didn't, because lag. Now, that definitely worked. Oh, you already have the quest, lag.
I know we do.
No.
Oh, I can. Yeah. What? Where? Here.
On the
okay.
table, vial.
Yeah, the pink.
I'm totally paying attention to what's being said.
Tradition path, hi. Stack or? Sorry about that. Sorry about the remaining.
Don't worry, I'm always sorry about the Romanians. You kind of
That's very
set yourself up for that one. I mean, come on.
You're not the only one. Have you seen that that video from March when he shows his face, Manis?
No, I haven't yet. I will. Tonight, I promise.
Jesus fucking Christ. When I saw his face, I was what the fuck is wrong with him? Oh right, he's Norwegian.
Achievement of this one?
No, I think it's only the last boss with the fishes.
Ah, the fish out of water, yeah.
This has 2.5 ones.
Might wanna heal Craig.
I'm trying.
There's a lot of assholes here.
Some of them have even invaded your battle.net chat.
Exactly. Prove that druids can actually do AoE damage, assuming that targets live long enough.
You rang?
Exactly. You rang.
It's funny because you won.
Yeah. Well, funny.
Or better said, it's funny, but yeah.
Puns of comedy.
Yeah, then.
Guessing no one needs a 340 ring.
Not necessarily, no.
I still have this. Like, I still have a 325 ring. Oh, goddammit.
Oh. I just kicked the fish into the water here.
Behind. I did the Manis.
Pull.
Yeah. Well, at least I don't have 800 MS anymore. It's settled down to 400.
Congratulations.
Keep in mind I'm a fiber.
Yeah, but where is your fiber coming from? Exactly.
Orange.
Well, I guess.
No, it's actually good. Like, this is the first time since I got this new contract where I have issues with them. Okay, so we need to punt
Any
fishes back into
specific-
the water. But what fish?
Got him.
Ah, okay. Any clue how many?
One of you should probably be able to track it, I think.
Fish out of water, you said?
Yes.
Luck? Any luck?
Nope. Doesn't show it to me.
It's red.
Yeah, but I think we had. I think this one can't be tracked actually. I didn't have it white either when I got it.
15.
Actually, the red thing is normal. I had the same issue.
Oh. Now it's white, by the way.
I'm assuming we can.
Let's punt some more fishes. Oh, someone punted me. What? How did that even...
Whee! I guess they found you fishy.
I'm always fishy.
Wash.
Do I get in the cannon?
Oh, I'm following the tank. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that seems to be a good idea actually.
Yeah, I think we need to go into the cannons, shoot this asshole in the face, and then... Have a nice flight, manis.
Oh, there's fishes here too.
Yeah, I don't think you're meant to finish all of them on one island.
But how many do we have to punt?
15.
15?
15, 1-5.
Ah, 1-5. I'm pretty sure we punted 1-5. I think we're closer to 50 as in 5-0.
Yeah, I pounded at least. Well, not pounded, punted about 7 or so. That I remember.
Let's follow Craig. As I said, like on my tracker, the achievement is white, so that should mean it's...
Yeah, you got it. It should be fine.
But I'm going to punt a couple more fishes since they're here. This is a fun achievement, like actually like this kind of model.
There we go.
Yep.
We.
Let's go
If you
to that.
can.
Let's not teleport out. Let's just go in front of the dungeon where the engineer is. Set up a summoning stone and see if we can
Asking
have.
guild chat.
Yeah, I'm asking guild chat.
Craig, if you can hear, good luck on your exams tomorrow. I hope it goes well. Yeah, I think British universities and school has their exams at the mid of January.
Yeah,
In
so
Norway it's always in December.
the same thing is with our exams. Like for our colleges and universities in Romania, you have one session at the end of the summer, right? Or no, at the end of spring and one at the end of at the beginning of winter.
Yep.
Yeah. Norway just decided to do it differently in the sense that they have them in December instead. Perfectly, I'm happy about. Oh, never knows. Illegal correspondence. Illegible. Could also go outside of the dungeon and ask someone in trade or friends list or something like that.
Let's try broadcasting.
All you technically need is just someone to activate it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a shit ton of ore, I could probably power level it on my rogue, but I don't have a shit ton of ore. I don't even know what mats I would need to power level it. I would apparently need a lot.
Let's ask Gab.
No, I don't know who sounds it, but
Pop a summoning stone.
you forgot to ask. Then he can't do it.
damn it. Let's try. Won't cost us anything.
Looks like the Horde is taking advantage of the siege and looting the city. Prevent them from plundering Varanus.
Turn behind you, there you go. See the blue mark, run to the blue mark. Go, Philippus, go. Guessing you can't. No, you need 75 skill. or some.
Okay, I'll go in Boralus and ask for someone with engineering if they want to join and help us. Give me a second.
$75 engineering indeed.
So?
No, it's not auto teleport.
We lack like mother load and troll thingy.
Yeah, we lack some more.
Like it's lit and ready for raiding is mine. So one in Ataldazar and one in Motherlode.
So it's lit, and which one are you missing again?
Ready for raiding 6.
Oh, yeah, those are you miss as well, plus some others.
Like ready for raiding isn't a problem because I can get that solo in like a few years, but it's lit requires a group.
What can I do for you?
God damn it, seriously, no fucking engineers? Look, I'm just gonna take one for the team, summon me in, and I'm going to bring my hunter, but I'm not sure if he has 75 BFA engineering.
Let's check that before we summon.
Yeah, give me a second, because I can check without logging out.
Okay.
Skills, hunter, mining, engineering, Kultiran, no, it's 1, it's not leveled up. Ali, do you have your engineer leveled up?
out of 150 tier engineer.
Yeah, same here. Haven't skilled up one single skill. Hunter.
You need like almost 750 monolith ore. And 230 storm silver. To get to that rank.
I think I'm lost. I'm definitely lost. Ah,
Can someone tell me the link monolith and storm silver?
yeah, I think so. Okay, so this is storm silver. This is monolith.
Oh, that's actually going to cost a bit. I don't actually have to ore myself.
I got a stack of monolith ore, if it helps in any way.
I mean, I can go and buy the ores, but I need to go check if I have the reputation thing. Just gonna quickly check if I have the reputation. Is Eva around?
Let me check. But
I know he has engineering.
No, he's not.
Shadow also has it, I think.
Shadow's also not online.
I'm just checking the Discord. But neither seems to be present. Well, Shadow is present, but he's away.
I'm asking Sammy right now.
I mean, it's fine. I can level up the profession.
Want me to send you the ore I get?
Let's see if Sammy has. But yeah, if so, then I would like that. I don't know the price of monolith, but I would imagine it costs.
Not very low. It's the suckiest material, the suckiest ore to have, since it costs a lot for
Yeah.
3 professions to level up with.
I saw that.
I think
at
there's
least
more
the
than 3, but yeah.
The last scan I did was pretty high for storm, silver, and monolith. But I'm checking it now.
Well, it's blacksmithing,
Jewel crafting.
engineering, and jewel crafting. What are the other ones?
No, those 3 are the ones. I don't know why I was thinking there's another one that uses monolith.
Because you're an idiot.
Might be.
They're 3 point. Wait. Wow! They're 35 gold per ore?
Yep.
But or
Fuck that!
fuck
Like I
that.
said,
or.
not very cheap. And by not very, I mean fuck expensive.
A
know.
fucking stack of monolith is like 8,000 gold.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit.
That's why I manually leveled my blacksmithing. Because of that ungodly price.
Holy fuckballs, I would need 3,600 times 8. Wow. Yeah, I would need roughly 28,000 to get that. And that's just a monolith.
Let's see, maybe Destiny has.
Storm silver is also sucky. You need 230 of those, and they're
Yeah,
also...
but it's not that goddamn expensive.
No, storm silver is more expensive than monolith.
No, but really?
I've sent you.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
sent you the ore.
It should arrive instantly because you're in the same guild. Oh lol, Joe Rogan has a podcast with Mike Tyson.
Oh dear. The amount of stupid in that podcast. Remarkable.
I actually need to check if I have... No, I can't actually do it either. Because I don't have a revert with Storm's Week.
Oh great.
So what was the name of the... Was it Melteanu?
Melteanu, yeah.
Melteanu.
It's Romanian from person from the countryside.
That hits hard. Whacks you over the head really hard. It's a warrior, so.
Okay, I sent them back.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Hard
but it's
hitting
just
peasant.
like... I'm not sure if I'm spending 40,000 on that achievement. When he can just
no,
literally
fuck that.
ask around.
I asked, I asked on trade as well, no one answered.
Offer gold for it. Like, as long as it's less than 40k. Is there auctioneer bot in Borealis now?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, thought I remembered
For
that.
engineers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Near the trainer.
I'm going to go outside again and ask someone. Again, maybe we get lucky the second time.
Roll a d20.
Yeah, I feel like I'm rolling with it at a disadvantage.
Roll an investigation check.
At least it's not a stealth check.
Yeah. You should get like... What are they called? Boots of Elvenkind?
Yep.
Gives you advantage on stealth checks, so it equals out. So like your boots are like super silent, but the rest of your armor is like clank, clank, clank. In all fairness though, this isn't the type of achievement that is difficult to get later.
Almanis, start leveling your
Oh, wait, I'm...
skill with the...
I might have found someone to help set up a summoning stone.
Summoning stone up. I sincerely doubt you need to tank here.
No, we don't need to
Maybe
tank,
Wartorn.
like, that's not a problem.
Yeah, just in case.
on, say yes, motherfucker, say yes. Ah. Oh, found it. Summon us, please.
Looks like the Horde is taking advantage of the siege and looting the city. Prevent them from plundering Borealis.
Oh, congrats.
Ooh, finally.
That leaves like 2, I think. Or 1 for some of you, if you got there ready for raiding.
Yep.
Isn't that the one where you have to run to her fast enough?
I think so. You need to be outside of the outside of the room to overhear the conversation between her and the what's his face. Between Belanders, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thanks, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
See you
whenever.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Yuan,
Yeah, sure, no worries.
let's go help him.
I'm of the same opinion. Fair is fair.
Yeah, no, he helped us. There's no reason to be assholes about it.
Yep. The question is, which one was Court of Stars? That's the one near the water line, right?
Yeah, it's the one, like Court of Stars. It's the one with the interactable court object. You know, where you again with the professions thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Archway is the one. The other one. Oh, man. I guess I should have flown to Suramar instead of Broken Shores, but okay.
I'm just grabbing my what's it called, my dollar on Hearthstone from the bank.
Why do you have that in the bank?
Why should I have it on myself?
Because it's actually a really nice teleportation area.
It is, but I don't require it that much, and when I need it, I go pick it up from the bank.
Do you really need all the other bank spaces?
Funny enough, yeah. Like I'm a big hoarder when it comes to items. Like my bags are pretty much always full. Like I have a complete bag of gear that contains pretty much 100% of spec items. Like I have specific items for retribution and protection.
See, the difference here is I don't actually have different specs that require different gear. So
Well, that's because you don't play
just-
demonology.
Nope.
Because affliction has pretty much the same itemization as destruction, but you should still have like about, I don't know, 3 extra items for affliction spec, like Azerite items.
Yeah, but I don't actually play Affliction either, so
Ah, okay.
I started playing Affliction this expansion and it was so boring.
Write to that guy that I'm stuck at the loading screen, I'm not offline or something, and it just takes a lot to load. Okay, I'll have to get Truth Guard out, though.
Oh yeah, for finding that fucker.
For like insta finding that fucker.
I have many lucky boosts, you like.
Just gonna keep the item. I'm just gonna keep Truth Guard on myself until we get there, so I have the extra damage from the regular items, weapons and such.
Doesn't seem like you have much of a need for it until then. I don't think the Monix actually has flying mounts.
Who has flying mounts? Like the Demon Hunter? Doesn't have
Yeah.
Legion flying?
No, he seems to be using ground mounts.
Ah, he's probably just pick up. I'm flying there.
At this pace, you're probably beating him, because I'm wondering if he has the Suramar disguise.
Oh, like I'm flying straight from Dalaran into Suramar, like, you know, almost jumping down of the...
Oh, never mind, he's here. He actually made it. I think he used the falling.
Ah, he glided down.
Yeah.
That's not the worst idea.
just gotta wait for his.
Like, as far as I know, the only requirement, because I did this achievement like naturally, I didn't bother with it, you know.
Yeah, I don't even remember how I got this. I think it just happened. I mean, I never did. Oh shit!
What?
Where the hell do I remember him from? Isn't he from old CTS, or is he from
Like, he probably is a order player of Neptune, but it's the first time I see him. Now, since you two are on the same server, you might have crossed paths earlier.
Oh no, I've crossed paths with that. I've crossed paths with that guy. Gabud no, so I think it's Volcano Legion.
What guild is he from?
That's actually.
Well, he knows the guild, so I'm guessing he was a member at some point in time. You still hear you on?
Yeah, I was typing.
Oh, so you guys, like, you know him
Oh,
from
I've been-
when...
I've been in a guild with him.
Oh. That's cool. What? I didn't one-shot him? What the fuck is this? Let's join the group voice chat. Let's chat with them as well. Know how to join the group voice chat, Yon?
No, no fucking clue.
Okay, so there's under the social button, you see it? Like, there's the social button and there's the chat channels right underneath.
Yes.
Okay, if you click on the chat channels and you go on the party, you see there's a headset icon right to the right where party 5 is written.
Oh, like that social.
Yeah. Like in game, I'm talking.
Does that? Do you hear me all the time, or do you just hear me at moments?
I hear you like you're using push to talk and you're not fully pressing.
Ah, no man. I just had to figure out what the hell was how it worked.
Okay, let's join the party chat. Hello. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, what's up,
I
man?
can hear you.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hey, kid. What's up, man?
Just trying to keep up. I'm fucking half asleep, man. Jesus. I was like sleeping on the monk and stuff. Nothing. And here we are, doing this achievement again.
Again, yeah.
What?
I'd love to see
Tried it
what we do
before?
differently here, because fuck me, I can't. This achievement's
I
driving me
trust
nuts.
Rang. I still remember him somehow.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily sure if that's a good thing.
Other beacons up, should that not be done?
Yeah, press
Yeah, it
press
should-
the beacons.
Before we kill him.
No, it doesn't matter. Like
Doesn't
the idea
matter.
is to move fast. The idea is to go for speed.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Did we disable any other beacons behind us?
Okay.
We disabled one here.
There is
Did we kill
one
the
on the stair
sentries?
as well. Did you disable that, Ozan? I'll go for it.
Everything is disabled, I think. On the stairs?
Yeah, I was remembering one up there, but there is none.
No, 5 in total, and they should all be done.
And sentries as well. We killed all 5 of them, right? Like we didn't miss anyone.
No, did you kill the one by the docks?
Yes.
Oh, let's go back and check quick.
Checking again.
Yeah, go and check.
There's like one annoying one.
You guys are demon hunters. You should be able to move fast.
There's one more sentry here.
There's one left. We're
kill
killing
it.
him now.
Okay, he's down.
Go ahead, Nick. Go. You don't have to. We're on our way
Please
back.
go.
There was one sentry left.
Yeah, no problem.
So is this RNG then or not?
No, it's not.
It's not orange.
It's just you need to clear the dungeon as soon as possible, and the most important part is not to fail with the
Spy.
with the spy. Yeah, you need to
Okay.
figure it out from the first try.
Okay. Then.
But that's
we're
easy
moving
because
as fast.
we have a protection paladin and demon hunter, so that's not going to be an issue.
Exactly.
You want? We've changed to DPS.
Should we try and kill them like this, or pull out the ads one by one? Well, that solves the question.
You can do both, but I think to make it work, you have to kill the enforcers one by. Oh, okay, never mind. Fuck it. I'll come
Yeah.
and pop hero with you. It's fine. It's fine. They do still hurt, by the way.
Barely.
So I'm still impressed with how much DPS the tank demon hunter can pull.
That's quite insane, isn't it?
I'll speak to the to get your costume here.
I have many wares.
You guys go ahead and chat with those rumor givers in case I don't find it fast enough. Oh, he's here. Found him. Can one of the demon hunters come and press the
Spectral sight, yeah, I'm coming now.
he's definitely in this pack of 4 here.
You see, the spectral sight only works after you take all the clues. So it's
okay.
not showing me red around him at the moment. If we just click all the clues quickly, Taryn, then you can go use your spectral sights.
Just
Is your thing glowing? Is that why you said him?
The truth guard, like the paladin shield, glows when there's a demon nearby.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
So it's gloves, dark vest. I think it's this one. Yeah, that's that zone.
Yeah, that's it.
It's probably going to be this door.
Do we have to wait at the door or something? Because can we kill the boss with you?
We need we need to beat down the ad that spawns and then move quickly at the door.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think the achievement only triggers if you're in like on the balcony, so you need to open the door before they start speaking, and in order to do that you need to kill him really fast.
Yeah, okay.
So do we all need to rush?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we need to kill it, and at least one single person needs to really move fast to the door. Like one demon hunter will. Every single one of you guys are going to rush to the door, and I'm going to click on the keys to pick up the keys so we can open it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm picking up the keys. Keys have been picked up, so you can open up the door now.
Yep, you got it.
Jesus. Oh my god, was that it? Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
We did this quite a few times.
I mean, if you've never seen this scene before, then yeah, you got it.
No, shit. No, never mind.
I've seen this one quite a few times.
No. I was wrong again. No, it's not this one. It's the wrong scene. Shit.
Nope.
Nope, that was not it.
What the?
You didn't get the achievement, right? Like it's not just me that.
No, it's the wrong conversation. Yeah.
Oh, it's the wrong conversation.
Sentries, beacons, Gerdo. Oh, never mind. I know where it went wrong. Should we just exit and then redo it? Because you can reset it.
Is this heroic?
No, it's mythic.
No, but you should. The guide says you should kill all the Fellwatch sentries on the. Is it the third boss? Third boss.
I am.
Oh, so we should have killed the sentries and
reset the mythic.
Wait. You don't have to run all the way out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got like
teleporter, yeah.
a dude you can speak to. Yeah.
You can reset mythic. You'll just not get gear from it.
Yep.
You'll still be available for achievements. You'll just not get the gear. Like, and I'm pretty sure we don't care about the gear.
Also, it's important that everyone gets the disguises. Someone skipped that.
Stars guide you.
Give me a sec, I'm resetting.
Wait, don't. I'm still inside.
Yeah.
Western side.
Okay, now I'm outside. You can reset.
Okay. Click reset.
Sorry, my loading screens are really long.
No, no problem. Man.
And by the way, I want to thank you guys for helping me with the achievement in Siege of Barbaros, because we could not find an engineer in the guild for the if our life depended on it.
No, no problem. Man. No problem. Glad to help.
Did you guys reset and go back in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just now.
Oh.
Your arrival is fortuitous. Tonight the nobles have gathered in honor of the Grand Magistrates. Our spies report that
Kill the 5 sentries, then the 5 beacons, and then the first boss.
And then we need to speak to all 5 chatty rumor mongers. So all
Yeah, and
clues have
what
to be
about
discovered.
the enforcers?
We'll kill them.
The second boss.
We'll kill them.
Yeah, we kill those as well.
We can split up in 2 groups, like if you want to do it faster, the enforcers. Like one group goes on the left side and the other group goes on the right side.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Because again, it's
Just,
not like we need healing.
keep count of the sentries you kill.
So this is one.
That's one. One sentry, one beacon. Then
Do
you
we do the
cross
sentries
bridge.
first and then the beacons, or does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, I think.
Yeah, sentry by the docks. We'll
Yeah,
get that. We'll get that. Voila.
2.
And then we got one here. 3.
3.
And one by the door and one on the bridge.
Now I'm getting the beacon here.
Okay.
4 down.
That's the
And
5th.
5 sentries down.
How many times can you
Don't-
reset Mythic a week? As many times as you want.
Yeah, there's not a limit. Again, you
Wait with killing that guy.
okay.
Wait. I'm still going.
Well, he's at 86%, so he's not dying very fast.
Okay, all bosses, I mean all beacons are done.
Did you get the one there? Yeah, okay then. Everything's done.
Yeah, so the whole mythic reset thing is that you just don't get any more loot. You can do it as many times as you want.
Okay.
See, and that's so fucking weird because when I did it, it was still cleared. And that's why I stopped doing it. The mythic resetting.
Because you had someone still inside, probably.
Also, there's a
Possible.
chance that you entered the hourly instance reset limit.
Oh yeah, there's a
that's
limit.
possible.
Yeah, there's a limit to how many resets you can do on during an hour. I think like 3 resets, something like that.
3, yeah.
So-
Yeah, well, you proved me wrong. I thought it was impossible, so... Okay.
Yeah, that's a feature they added so that people won't boost characters. Like the people were boosting low-end characters in Karazhan. They were killing the trash up to attunement and just resetting the raid.
Yeah. Okay, there's one across the bridge. Enforcer thingy.
There should be one here on the... oh no, there's only one up. The one across the bridge. Let's go get him. don't interact with the statues. Like if they said we need to kill the enforcers, let's kill the enforcers.
Yep.
Because we can, like, I can, if I interact with that statue here, I can summon the ads without enforcers, but that would defeat the point of the exercise.
Yep.
I didn't actually see any enforcers on the other side though.
They spawn one at a time, so there's one spawn now.
Oh, no. Wow, it's been ages since I've done this then.
I did it so many times, it literally burned into my memory.
Is there any other active guild left on Neptulon except for CT
Yeah,
somewhere?
there's a couple.
There is not actually a Neptulon anymore though, because Neptulon, Dark Soul, Ro, and Genjiros.
Genjiros merged. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you would look at it individually, like
You
I
cannot.
I still do, kind of. So
Like, no, seriously, you cannot look at them individually. If you look on WoW progress and everything, they're all mixed up together.
they are.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like for example, I'm from Dark Sorrow, and I'm on a guild that was founded on Neptulon.
Yeah, I know you can like go to guilds on different servers.
But I
thought
can no,
that
that's the
progress
thing.
on
That's the
its
thing.
own-
That's the thing, because I
There's
cannot.
one more. There's one more of those things, huh?
No. We killed 3 of them. That's the
There's
thing.
always like a 4th one for some reason.
In case you get killed by the mob and it goes back to the boss.
Maybe, yeah.
And that actually makes sense. Yeah.
Speak to Lilith.
So, for example, I cannot join a guild on Ravencrest or on Sylvanas. I can only
Yeah,
join a
because
guild,
it's not in the same shard.
sort of,
Hold
because
on.
they're not the same server.
Ah, yeah, okay.
But Dark Sorrow and Genjiros and Neptulon are merged to be a single server.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
Okay, found the pack.
Mail.
One more, so those are for
We got
5.
all 5.
Pop spectral sight so we don't fuck around.
It's this guy right here.
This one?
I'm gonna speak to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably know it's going right.
It's going on the right side.
Oh, come on.
You want put a gateway between here and there. Like,
I did put it with the reset.
Okay,
pushed
yeah.
up.
Never mind then.
Excellent.
Got the keys.
The way to the balcony should be open. It's time to put an end to genocide.
Yes!
That's
There
the
you
one.
go.
That's the
Yes.
one. Jesus.
Yes!
Should we just
Finally.
wait?
Yeah,
no.
we can just wait.
Oh, you want to wait? Okay.
Yeah, just
I don't know.
I don't think it matters, but yeah.
yeah. It's such bullshit to get this. Oh, I can't believe it was just about speed. We were looking for things that weren't actually there. I think.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Bro, come on.
But it's also speed and stuff
Thank you, my friend.
because you have to remove like things that alert them.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, you need to do it. Oh, I didn't have the achievement on this character because I have the glory, and this is part of the glory.
Oh, grats.
I don't need a gold.
You sure?
Yeah, if anyone needs gold,
Thank you,
it's
guys.
me.
I appreciate the help.
Yeah, thank you very much for the help.
No worries.
Come on, let's kill the boss since we're here. No point in.
And it's great to have seen an old Gilney, even though it's been a fucking long time ago.
Yeah, it's like there's like memories attached to things like that, but there's almost no one around from the old god to say it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
There are some here and there, but most people have moved on or changed servers. So.
And
unfortunately,
guys, you can add us if you need any more help with anything. Don't be shy to ask.
Indeed.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So do we.
And good luck in the future.
Good luck to you all.
You too, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Cheers. La. Does it work? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it works.
Oh, this is actually very cool. So we can join like guild chat common and we can all speak together.
Yeah, but I'm also of that opinion that this literally does what Discord has, just that Discord is a bit more I'd like to say structured and gives you a hell of a lot more rules to go by.
Well, yeah, but at the same time keep in mind that this is not a second program you need to install and work with. Like this is a standalone embedded in the game.
But you can actually send messages if you're not like, because I have Discord on my laptop that I have downstairs and I don't game on that. And then I have have it on my desktop, which I do game on. So whenever I'm on the desktop, I'll have Discord up and I'll have Battle.net up. But if I'm on my laptop, I won't have Battle.net on it because it doesn't have it installed. So like I said, I think I don't remember where I told you, but whenever I'm on Battle.net, that's when I'm available for gaming. And if I'm not on Battle.net, then I'm not really around my desktop. I could go to my desktop, but that would take me 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, as my point with the whole Battle.net chat inside the game is that it's like really nice for pickup groups, because you don't need to set up Discord servers and such. You just make a pickup group, you join the voice chat. That voice chat is limited to that pickup group. Once you leave the group, you leave the voice chat as well.
It even has like an overlay function, I noticed, in the just above the chat.
Exactly, like it's really well done.
Yeah, I'm impressed with it, to say it like that.
Indeed. And there's like more ways of controlling, because if you press J, like the guild pane chat, where you see how many people are online, see, like on the right hand corner, right on top of the list of players, there's also a voice chat button. You can join and leave.
I don't know, I guess I'm just very pro Discord for what it does. But this is handy for what this does.
Discord is good for like really organized guilds and such, but for pickup groups and just chatting around, this is an extremely positive functionality that they introduced.
But it's like when I'm soon going to go to Heroes of the Storm and play some games
the
there.
moment you log out, it logs you out of the chat as well.
Yeah, but like I can't chat across Battle.net games. I would need one of those previous groups.
And honestly, I don't think so. I think they introduced that whole community thing, this new whole community thing that is across games.
We have the City Samurai group.
Yeah, because that's across games. So if the community with English. So if we're both in the same community, it doesn't matter if you're in Heroes of the Storm or Diablo or World of Warcraft. If you have access to that community, you can use the voice chat on it, which is really awesome. Like, I think they did a pretty goddamn good job with it.
I mean, I think a healthy mix of both is useful.
Yeah,
I'm just very pro Discord for at least for stuff like D&D and like raiding and such. I'm very pro Discord. In terms of like just randomly doing 5-mans or pickup groups, yeah, this works more than fun.
The advantage of Discord is that you can use it for like a plethora of games that are not Blizzard related and such. You can use it to chat, and you can have it on your phone, and there's a lot of advantages to it.
Also, let's say that I wanted to like slit your throat while we're doing D&D in the middle of the night. I would not theoretically want to say that out loud. I would want to write it to Jaffa somehow.
Fair point.
It's like, yeah. Not that I'm actually going to do that, but it's like my point. Because I think when Tudor was doing the entire Steal the Statue thing, he whispered on Discord.
Oh, okay.
I remember being totally like, where the hell did that come from? When he got caught. Anyway, this is probably where I go to Heroes of the Storm.
Okay, bro, thanks for the help. How are you on Sunday evening for another run, for some achievement runs? Same, like, raiding hours.
If you remind me, I'm probably going to be able to be around. I'm not, like... Sunday might not be... I actually, when I think about it, I might be a bit unsure about that. Yeah, there's a likelihood there that I might not be available on Sunday.
Okay, then let's push it for Monday, because we have a couple of left, and I really would like to finish up the achievement run before Ataldazar shows.
Like, Monday is more than fine for me, and Tuesday as well. It's just that Saturday and Sunday, yeah. Saturdays usually I want to not do World of Warcraft. Sunday I actually have something else planned, and I'm not sure if I can schedule around. If so, I would have to rush things, and I'm not sure if I want to do that.
Okay.
I'd rather want to take my time with stuff.
No problem. So then Monday, I'll write to Craig, and I'll talk to Ali and Lach as well. Yep. Monday evening, great time.
Yep. Tuesday as well as.
Yeah, and we can
also.
We have like, what do we have left? I still need the Void Lies Sleeping, which is Shrine of the Storm. So there's that. It's Lit that you also have. So there's that. It's Goodnight Sweet Prince and Snake Eater, which is Temple of Cetralis. And Motherload. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 dungeons.
Like a lot of them.
Yeah, because if you remember, we went to do Temple of Cetralis and it bugged. One of them.
Oh yeah, the frog achievement bugged. Yeah, that's true.
And we also were retarded and wait. I waved to Destiny. We also were retarded and did not click the snakes, so that's why we're missing 2 achievements there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
But
if we manage to do like 2 dungeons on Monday and 2 dungeons on Tuesday, I'm happy.
also, it's like those are dungeons that. Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Those are dungeons that could be done even without Craig, though. You just need a 5th person.
Yeah, yeah.
Craig has the ready for. He has the glory, I think. So it depends if Craig can't, then it's just literally getting Philippus or anyone else, pretty much.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yup. You know, you know what the really good thing about having like extreme work days all week? It's when I end work at 10 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to cry of happiness. I've literally been working extra hours just to be really quickly done on tomorrow, and it's going to be awesome.
How's the planning going with Justin?
Pretty good. Seems like we're going to get married during summer.
Oh, nice. That's fast. Like, it's what, 6 months from now, more or less.
I mean, it's 6 months, but we got together in 2006, so we've been together for 12 years. So it's more.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm talking about from the moment you propose to the moment you're actually executing the wedding. Like, I usually expect people to like go for 1 year of planning due to the issues of planning weddings, like finding venues and finding priests and all that bullshit.
Oh yeah, but neither of us are Christian and religious or traditional, so the thing we're planning is going to be more of a low-key, huge family wedding of.
Oh, you can do that in Norway, because you can't do that in Romania.
Sure.
Like you need to have.
In Norway, you only need to have 2 witnesses. So technically, if you wanted to, and we're not going to do it, but you could only be you and your future spouse, and then 2 witnesses, and that's it.
Yeah, that's how it is for us at the city hall, but yeah.
Yeah, but we're doing it in the city hall because we're not allowed to do it in churches, since we're neither of us are Christian.
You aren't? What?
No, I deconverted. And she deconverted as well, actually.
You can do that? Like, I'm finding new stuff out.
In Norway, you can at least, because I went through confirmation when I was 14, 15-ish, and but when you do your confirmation, you become like a full-fledged member of the church in Norway. But you can actually choose to leave the church by applying for it, and they can't deny you.
That is interesting.
Pretty sure you can.
You can
pretty
do
sure
that
you can do that in Romania too.
No, you cannot. Like,
Sure
I'm pretty sure. I think you can convert to different religion. I think you can do that, of course. But I'm pretty positive that you cannot deconvert from orthodoxy, like from Christian orthodoxy.
No, but like, it's a human right that you're supposed to have freedom of religion, and if you're not religious in that religion, as long as Romania follows freedom of religion, there should be a system saying that you can opt out or like leave the church.
Well, honestly, I'll have to read up on it. Firstly, I'm pretty sure I never heard of anyone except you. Like, you're the first person I heard that voluntarily what was the term?
Deconvert.
Deconvert, yeah.
Or like just literally leaving the church.
Yeah, like you're the first person I heard that ever did that. Secondly, like in Romania, there's the state church, because we have a state church. And this is like, I know it's vastly different from any other place, because there is, while the concept of separation between church and state exists, there is a state church.
No, but we had that as well up until a few years ago. In fact, I deconverted while we still had a state church.
Oh, okay.
So, I think most Western Europe, well, not Western, European nations in general tend to have like state religions. But
no,
the Baltic nations, for example, and Scandinavia is super atheist. So there's a not a
Yeah,
lot of,
that's
like,
true. But for example, I know for a fact that the United States does not have a church, state religion, a church state.
Yeah, that's because they have it in the constitution, though.
Yeah, and I think the same thing applies, for example, to Canada. They don't have a state religion either.
No, but for instance, the UK does. I think.
Well, yeah, but the Anglican Church is a thing since, you know, Harry VIII.
Yeah.
Like, they fought and bled in order to have that state religion church.
But like our king used to be the head of the church in Norway. Well, not like in head of the church in like theological matters, but he since he was the king of the country, he was also the head of the church.
In an administration point of view, yeah, that's very different from the regular. Because I now this is an assessment of mine. I'm saying this because I assumed it all my life, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought that Scandinavian countries were Catholic.
No, we're Protestant.
Oh, you're Protestant. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that I didn't know that. I'd expected that you guys were Catholic since, you know, Vikings.
It's hard to explain. To say it like this, the way they changed us from Vikings to Christians was that they made the Christian, the Norse myths, the Eddas, the books about lore and mythology. They put Christianity into it, so they made their Norse religion more Christian in nature, so it was easier to convert people to Christianity.
Oh, so in other words, they kind of make Jesus a Norse god.
More like, for instance, they drew parallels to Odin and God and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like classical Greek tragedies like the Battle of Troy, for instance, the Viking gods were just survivors of the Battle of Troy, pretty much, coming from a civilization in the past that was more developed. Like, seriously.
Okay. Yeah, that I think that's one way of putting it, I guess.
But like, then we became Christian and it was Catholic, and you had like Latin priests doing Catholic sermons and masses and your sermons.
Because that's exactly why I was expecting like the northern countries, the Baltic states and the Scandinavian states to be Catholic, because there's two factors in it from my knowledge of history. Is that you had Catholic missionaries coming to the Scandinavian countries, and you had the Teutonic the Teutonic Crusades in the Baltic states, and the formation of the Teutonic states afterwards in Estonia and Lithuania and Latvia.
I mean, we were Catholic up until 1537, because when Luther did his Reformation in 1536, we jumped pretty quickly on that, because Norway is a very scattered country. There's not a lot of there are some densely populated areas that are now cities, but for the most part we're a massive country where people live in like small clusters in smaller municipalities.
Yeah,
which meant that it was a fucking pain to get Catholic educated priests to talk Latin in churches and stuff.
Yeah.
Which meant that sermons usually were held in Norwegian or dialects anyway. So when the Reformation happens and people realized we can still pray to the same God, we just can use our own language, our own culture, and not be too fussy about things, we kinda jumped ship pretty fast.
Yeah, because you were already doing that on the down low.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We couldn't get Catholic priests like more densely populated nations.
Yeah, but that's still interesting, because the Scandinavian countries were not the last European countries, or better said, they were not the last European people to convert to Christianity. Those were the Baltic states.
Yeah, I would imagine that we're one of the more first ones, but I have.
Yeah, I think so. I think you guys, like the northern countries, were Christianized well before other European countries.
Let's see.
Like you had Italy and France and Spain and Portugal that were definitely Catholic, more or less from the beginning.
Yeah, 1537 for us.
Oh yeah,
The Swedes started in like after 1523, but since we were Denmark at the time, yeah, 1536, and I think it ended in Norway in 1537.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure like the Teutonic Wars, the Teutonic Crusades against the pagans Baltic states were in the 1600s or so.
Yeah, I mean we reformed ourselves before England. We were done before the English were done.
Of course you were, because England reformed based on the whims and caprices of their king. The reformation of the Anglican Church was not an ideologically motivated reformation. It was because Henry VIII wanted to fuck and couldn't divorce. Like that was the only reason the Anglican Church exists.
It seems like the timeline is Germany, Austria, the Czechish lands,
Yeah,
and Switzerland,
Bohemia,
and then the Nordic lands.
Yeah, and then you had like Eastern European countries like Romania. Well, back then we weren't a state; we were like 3 states. It was the Principality of Wallachia, the Principality of Moldavia, and the Principality of Transylvania that were all converted to Christianism. But funny enough, we were supposed to be Catholic as well. Bite on that.
I mean, like, I think it's like, wait, you had to be Protestant and Catholic at the same time?
No, because we're not Protestant. Like we're the thing is, so when they had to set up the episcopality of Wallachia, because that's where the fun started. So they were in the treaties of setting up the episcopality of Wallachia. Transylvania was already converted to Catholicism, so they already founded an episcopality there. But the king at that time, King Andrew, I think it was, like got in a really bitter fight with both the Poles, the Hungarians, and the Papal States, so Vatican, and like 1 week before he had to go and set up the episcopality and officiate everything, he went to the Greek church, the Orthodoxical church, because we are Eastern Orthodoxy. Like we follow the the Byzantium Christianity.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
and that was when the switch went. But because it's very weird in Romania, because there's not a very distinct difference between our Orthodoxy and Catholicism, mostly because they were founded at the same time and in the same ideas. If you go to Russia, there's a very clear distinct difference between their church and the Roman Catholic one. For us it isn't, mostly because the switch was, again, it wasn't ideologically based.
It's like usually just cultural based, so if Romania has one way of doing things, they'll kinda incorporate that into
Exactly.
their, yeah.
And since Romania is basically founded by 3 smaller countries, like the 3 principalities that were united, most things mingled, and the people as well mingled, and that's why it's a very distinct form of Christianity, in the sense of it's being distinct but not extremely different. Does it make any sense what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I understand it. It's more like I was sitting here thinking about whether or not you actually would be able to leave a religion in.
That's the thing. Like I'm pretty sure you can convert. So, for example, my father, he's a Baptist. He was born in a Baptist family. He was baptized at the age of 33. So he's Baptist. He's a Baptist. But I'm Orthodox because I was baptized when I was I don't know, 3 months old or something, like the classical Catholic slash Byzantium tradition.
Same in Norway. I just had my parents wanted to wait until I was 5 so I could decide on my own, and then they said I could get a Lego boat if I got baptized, or I could not get anything if I didn't. So I went for the Lego.
That's a shitty way of making you choose, no?
And that actually is how I became baptized. Then I went through confirmation because tradition, pretty much. And then when I started thinking of the actual spiritual, religious, faith type of things, and realized that I actually read the Bible a few times just to try to understand it. And what I read there just horrified me in terms of like mindset. So I wrote a letter saying that I want to deconvert. Actually, nowadays you just have to go and fill out a form and press send in.
Oh lord. Again, I don't know if that's even possible here.
Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, that means that I'll still be buried in a cemetery. I have that option because they fulfill a state burial type of thing. But it means that I wouldn't marry in a church because I don't actually feel comfortable with a place. I don't feel at home in a church anymore. Pretty much.
Yeah, I get that.
I attend it during like marriages, funerals, like family stuff.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. I get your point. Like, there's a big discrepancy between the ideology and what it's preached to what what actually happens within the church walls, sort of saying.
Okay, I think, regardless of what type of religion is a good thing because faith is a good thing. The issue is that most religions are primarily made by humans, and humans are fucked up.
Well, there's another way of looking at it, and this is like I was pretty much on the same page with you about up until 1 year ago, and in the past year I've read some things and I've got myself interested in this the whole spiritual thing a bit more, and it changed my point of view a bit. If you think about religion as an evolving organism, and if you consider religion as a part of the evolution of the humankind, it changes your perspective a bit. And if you look at the stories within the Bible, and not only the Bible, because it can be in basically every single other faith-based religious system, most of them are archetypical stories that are been most of the time passed around in an oral manner.
Oh yeah, sure. Look, if you look at the actual basis of what constitutes Christianity, most of it is copy-paste from various elements of other pre-existing faiths.
Yeah, exactly.
For instance, Mithraism and more Zoroastrianism, and then you have the summer solstice placement from what the hell is that? Druidic roots?
Yeah,
so
it's
anyway,
Celtic.
like I get that. I think like my issue is when a church ends up like here in Norway. We have like a Christian party. It involves itself in politics, but it tries to stand for Christian values, which is I don't like religion in politics. But this party of less than 4% of the total votes want to severely restrict abortion. And since there's now talks of having that party in our government to create a majority, there's a large likelihood that a party of less than 4% can influence abortion policies in Norway.
Well, for example, it's a very interesting topic you've chosen, because abortion is a very sentimental and very sensitive subject in a lot of countries except for Romania. In Romania, churches, of course, no preacher, no deacon or no bishop will come out and say abortions are good, because it makes no sense for them to say. But not one of them will come and say that we need to ban abortions or that we need to stop abortions. Why? Because we had communism. And in 1976, Nicolae Ceausescu, which was the Romanian dictator at the time, passed the decree. That's how, like, in popular culture, in Romanian culture, it means as the decree. The decree said that abortions are illegal, that women caught trying to get an abortion will be arrested until they will be delivered full term, that children will be taken from them, and then in some cases they got shot, like, you know, bullet to the back of their brain. The doctors were getting shot. So what happened was two things actually happened. Like, it was an inflation of population, and we got a couple of million members of our population, but at the same time we had the most disastrous situations of what do you call of orphanages. We had children growing up literally in their own poop. If you want, you can find that there was a 1980 documentary made by the BBC about it that is absolutely heartbreaking. And the second thing that happened, and there's a movie that got Palme d'Or, that got the Festival of Cannes most important award.
The Golden Palm, right?
Yeah, it's called 432. So it's 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days. The name of the movie, and it's about a woman that goes and gets an abortion from an old lady that uses a bent up coat hanger, like a metal.
That's a bit fucked up.
Yeah, and so that was a thing that happened in Romania for about 20 years. Not exactly 20 years. It was like something. No, actually, wait. It was 20 years. It was it was not less than that. It was 13 years. So that kept on since 1976 up until to 1989 when the communist regime fell. But after that, not a single person wanted to ban abortions. Abortions in Romania are considered are state sponsored. So if you need an abortion, it falls into the basic social medical system. You go to you don't pay anything. Like, if you're a working person and you pay taxes, it's free of charge, and it's done in the most professional way and in the most controlled manner possible. Of course, like, no one is going into extreme, like abortions past the third trimester are forbidden by law.
But like, that's interesting in the sense that history has very radically changed how one country perceives a controversial topic, because we never had something similar in Norway,
and neither did the United States.
It's mostly just religious scripture, because the people that actually votes our Christian party tends to be the more fundamentalist, I interpret the Bible literally, living in a Bible belt of communities.
I agree, and as I said, like, it's illegal to have abortions after the third trimester, so that's more or less roughly after 6 months of pregnancy. But that makes sense, because that's not a fetus anymore. Like, you can look at it and you can see it, and the problems that an abortion at that late stage poses towards the health of the mother are so insane. There's no way you can make that thing possible. And I'm not going to jump out and say they're completely illegal, because I'm pretty sure there are certain situations when even that is possible. Like, if the fetus is dead, I'm pretty sure they can have an abortion even in the 9th month, as long as the fetus is dead, because delivering it to term would be more problematic.
Yeah. Also, I think it's legal to kill the fetus if, let's say, there's like 1 month left. It's legal to kill the fetus if it jeopardizes the life of the mother.
Yeah, or something like that. There are some really extreme situations where you can do it, but most of the times you cannot. But otherwise, before the third trimester, you can do it, no questions asked. and that is mostly because of the communist regime that was here and the horrors that communist regime brought upon the people, and not even the religious folk disagree with that.
See, that's the thing here. We've never had traumatizing experiences, so people tend to support stupid ideas. Which is why I'm pro-faith in the sense that what religion provides is community, a sense of belonging, a sense of hope, and a sense of inner peace. I like the spiritual side of things. I think those are wonderful things, depending on what they are. But the problem is that when people start interpreting them for their own views and morals.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking, and that is shitty.
They twist something good into serving themselves and how they perceive the world, and that I think is an issue. Religion shouldn't be institutionalized. Religion should be something within each and every person.
True. And just a little parenthesis to this, keep in mind that Romania is, well, according to an European Union survey done a couple of years ago, is the second most religious country in the European Union after Malta.
Oh yeah, then I think it might be difficult for you to deconvert. But like, is that survey based on how many people are registered believers?
No, that was a census. That was an actual question. It was a survey, question survey with questions like how important is God to your day-to-day life, and 95% of citizens that answered that question were saying that God is a very important part of their everyday life.
Holy fuck! I don't think I actually need to go.
Again. I can check out the survey and give you more data about it.
For Norway.
Norway was low in that survey. So the only country that was more religious than us was Malta, and just we need to keep in mind that Malta was a country, or better said, is a country that was founded by Teuton and Templar Knights. Literally, it's a country that was founded by a religious order.
So on the 1st of January was when we left. We don't have a state church anymore. That was the 1st of January 2017. Apparently.
Oh, so this is quite recent.
Yeah. It was after I deconverted. Apparently 22% of Norwegians believe there is a god. 44% believe there is some sort of spiritual life force. And then the rest don't believe in it or give no response. Like a fifth of the country think there's a god. That's 22%, and that's it.
Well, for us, again, our numbers raise up in the 19th percentile. And I agree with you.
That's
like,
a massive difference.
Like, keep in mind, I agree with them. I'm probably one of the least religious persons in Romania, and I agree with them 100%. Like, and I've talked to scientists, and I've listened to scientists from the Western cultures, to sort of said, that agreed. Like, I can give you a NASA engineers and NASA scientists that say that it's impossible, given the amount of data we have about the universe and how the worlds exist, it is impossible there isn't some kind of a higher design at play. And I agree with that statement. Like, I'm pretty sure there's something happening beyond us that we do not understand, and that we do not have the current capacity of grasping it in a way that makes sense for us. But that's just life, I guess. And no, I do not believe in
I don't have a problem with faith or believing or anything like believing in higher forces. I have a problem with institutions taking the belief of people and twisting it into, like, maybe not political gains, but self-serving interests.
Yes, I agree with that. Like, I could not be more on the same page with you.
Saying there's a god is fine, but I think most Romanians would say saying there's a god that says never kill unborn children that would be political, or it would be self-serving interest, and that would create issues, I think, in Romania with your past history.
Again, like it's funny because there was never an open debate of any kind of a debate about this in my country. Like, I've been on this earth for 31 years already, and out of those 31 years, 29 of them were spent in democracy, and in those 29 I cannot for the life of me heard or seen a conversation about whether abortion is a morally good or bad stance, or even having some kind of a stance. And I'm 100% sure that the reason for it was the horrors of communism.
Yeah, but I would imagine those horrors were actually based on views found in the Soviet Union, because they take religion quite seriously.
They do, but funny enough, guess what? Abortion is not legal in the Russian Federation. The same thing, like the exactly same thing. The same thing you can find in Ukraine. The same thing you can find in Bulgaria. Like these were communist states. The same thing happens in Hungary, which again was a communist state. Poland has the same situation. No one in these countries contests the fact that the legality of abortion is necessary. The only places this conversation exists is the United States, on a serious level, is the United States, where I need to mention that in 2018 Utah made it not a federal an offense punishable by death penalty.
To take an abortion?
Not towards the woman that is taking the abortion, towards the doctor that is having the procedure done.
What the
yeah,
okay,
Americans
I
are fucking insane.
Those news, I guess.
Americans are fucking insane. That's why that's the only place this conversation really exists. And now you tell me that it starts in Norway due to a very minority Christian
yeah, but
party.
They're starting a small, like literally it's been political suicide for the party and the government as well. Like the second newspaper started leaking the issue, a poll was held, and over 80% of the population said fuck no.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
They're committing, either they're going through with it and committing political suicide, or they're going to back down and try to get them in government and without the radical change.
I presume so, because it makes no sense otherwise. Like, I understand the point of view. I completely understand the point of view that the church takes against this stance, because it makes sense. Like, life is sacred and life should be sacred, but there's some limits we need to draw.
Yeah, but sure, the Bible also says that you can sell your daughter to someone else in matrimony, and then you can stone people for growing two crops side by side. You can have someone stoned in the village center if they use garments made by two different
that was the one that I wanted to point out. Yeah, there's a lot of insane things that are written in the Bible, but again, taking it at face value, because let's keep in mind those scriptures were written over the course of 2000 years.
I know, like take for instance Islam or Judaism. They originate from heated areas where they say you should not eat pork. Well, bacterial issues in countries where meat goes rancid rather quickly in terms of heat, poor hygiene and such. Yeah, I can get why you wouldn't want to eat a disgusting pig that tends to roll around in their own filth. But
at the same
now we clean and process meat and sterilize the meat. So
well, yeah, change. But this is, come on, let's be honest, this is something that happened in the past less than 100 years.
Yeah, like, but like religion doesn't change.
It does. Quickly. It does. It evolves and it does change, but not quickly. And again, keep in mind that it was what, the 1850s, so about 100 and a bit years ago, when the Americans literally almost drove the buffaloes to extinction. You know that one? Like the Americans were hunting buffaloes in order to put them on trains to ship them back to New York and East Coast cities, but because there was no refrigeration and the only manner of refrigeration that they had were adding huge ice cubes in the train carts, a ton of that meat would go spoil and rot on the route. So like 90% of what they hunted was thrown away.
But like in my view, it's like it's difficult for me to support an institution that is slow to evolve with the extreme rapid development and changes in society. I'm also 31 years old, and society has changed a fuckload since I was a kid. And I would imagine before the day I die, it will also radically change. But
yes and no.
I would say the Norwegian church, barring the more acceptance towards lesbians, bisexuals, transsexuals, and homosexuals, beyond that, they haven't evolved for the past few hundred years. And the only reason why I think in Norway they've been more accepting of LGBTQ type of sexualities is mostly because Norwegians have traditionally given a damn about sexuality.
Fair point.
Literally,
but
Vikings just... The reason why the Vikings brought women back was literally to breed with them.
Yeah.
Or keep them as slaves. So, sexuality for us never mattered.
True, but at the same...
If you were a gay Viking, didn't matter as long as you could kill whoever made fun of you.
Fair point, but at the same time, you need to keep in mind that a lot of our society does not evolve at the same time, at the same pace, with our technology first, because that's a major part of it.
That's true. But like, if you also look at societal change and lawmaking, that actually changed rapidly in comparison.
No, it does not. Like, look.
In comparison to religion.
Yeah, in comparison to religion, yes, it does, because it takes only about you count that change in decades rather than centuries. That is true.
Yeah.
But it's still slow to change.
To cause a massive societal change, you need to have a few generations weeding it out, because you need to get the people with the old beliefs has to die, and then their children has to like die and get out of power. But then
exactly, yeah. But
so
at the
like
same
50
time,
years or more. But religion, that's way more than 50 years.
Indeed, but at the same time, keep in mind that there are a couple of societal trends that towards change, quote unquote, that I definitely think that are bad and detrimental. And speaking of, like, for example, the whole transsexual thing that's going on in the West, not so much in Romania, even though, by the way, it's also like sex change operations are considered a basic right. Like, you don't have to pay extra for a sex change operation in Romania. You can get it on the basic social medical system, so you don't need to pay extra. But there's a distinct part of that equation I think we as a society are missing, and that is mental health.
Oh yeah, I agree with that one.
I'm looking at the suicide numbers. Like, if you look at people that are transsexual, whether did they go through that sex change operation or did they not, the number of 40% of them end up in suicide is staggering.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, sex changes and acceptance for them doesn't really fix the problems they have about being... I'm not going to say that I have much knowledge about how it is to be a transsexual.
No,
but it's obvious that they struggle with fitting in and finding their own...
I completely agree, but the question is, are we certain, again, as a society, we're not talking about particular cases, but are we certain that those people are in a situation where they need a sex change operation, or do they need better healthcare when it comes to mental health? Because that's a very important question, and I think no one is asking right now.
I certainly think that should be investigated before the I wouldn't say, maybe not radical, but it is a drastical step to commit a sex change.
Exactly, and it's scarier because I don't know. I know this is a situation that still happens pretty much in the Scandinavian countries, but in the United States it's a fucking mess, and UK is as well a fucking mess, and in Canada, you have children going through hormonal treatments and hormonal interference treatments when they are under 18 years old, and that is not something good.
Well, that also happens in Norway.
Yeah,
And like I'm in 2 months of that, because I've actually had students that visibly had issues, like they were male and like reverted, well, not reverted, what the hell is the word for it? They changed into females.
yeah, that they
But they were
transferred.
obviously not comfortable with being male. So they went through significant amount of therapy, guidance, counselors, and so on for quite a few years, until, because there are some limitations, there are actually quite a few limitations in Norway. So when nothing really helped and the children were pretty set in their ways, they started hormonal treatment. I don't think they can get a gender change until they've stopped growing.
Yeah, but
And
let me put it this way:
hormonal changes can be reverted.
No, they
somewhat.
cannot. I'm sorry, no.
Somewhat.
No, they cannot. Like up until you're 20-something years of age, like up until you're, I think 22 or 23, you're still into the growing process, and that growing process is definitely strictly linked to the hormones you're getting inside of yourselves. So that is testosterone on one part, that's estrogen on the other part, that's growth hormone on another part. But the worst part of the whole the whole transition thing is that they give those kids inhibitors, hormonal inhibitors. That's a whole different ballpark, because when you start to inhibit the hormonal secretions of the body, you stunt growth, period.
Not necessarily.
No,
sure if
you
that's
definitely
the type of
stunt
treatment
growth.
that's done in Norway.
Again, I'm not talking about Norway in particular, because I don't know about cases in Norway, but I've heard about this happening in the US. I've heard about this happening in Canada. And again, I have no issue with someone that's over 21 years old and can do whatever the fuck they want to their body, as long as they understand what's going to happen to their body. You want to cut off a
10.
limb? 21.
10 is a bit young.
Yeah, but 10 is nowhere close to okay. I'm not
agree
comfortable
with
with
that one.
15. I'm not comfortable with 18, because at 18 years old your body still develops. And I'm not talking about your limbs and your genitalia, because fuck that, but your brain, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that-
but like for males, you're not fully grown until you're 25 to 27.
exactly.
And in that logic, you should not allow it at 18 either, because
Exactly.
there's so many stupid males that are still 18 and immature.
Exactly, and that's my point, because if you're 21 plus years old and you want to cut off a hand because you feel that hand is not yours, and you understand that you're going to be a cripple for the rest of your life, and you want to assume that risk, fine, fuck you, it's your choice, deal with it. But when you're a kid, you're nowhere near capable of taking that decision
I agree with that one.
for the rest of your life. And honestly, like the trend of discussions right now, the whole the fact that people saying gender dysphoria, which is a medical condition, and people start saying about that, if you use the term gender dysphoria, that you're a transphobe and that you're a bigot. That's insane, as far as I see it. That's just saying that telling to you that I have diabetes or that you have diabetes makes me a bigot is insane.
But I think like that entire topic of debate has caused the entire discussion of, well, how many genders are there? And like, I'm pretty much like nature orientated, in the sense that you have 2 genders, and creating additional genders to get someone to fit in doesn't solve the issue.
Yeah.
You can't create a gender to make someone feel they belong to something. I mean, if you want to do that, you'll end up with an unlimited amount of gender because no one is the same. The real
Exactly.
issue here is that these people cannot identify as something because they're struggling with mental health issues.
Exactly. We're like at what, 80 genders right now?
I
That
don't
are
know.
recognized by the.
Last I checked, there were 2 genders and that was it.
Oh, trust me. If you're going to ask the what is called the Canadian Human Rights Commission, which is a thing, by the way, there are like 80 recognized genders. 80 as in
Yeah,
80.
But I don't recognize them.
Yeah, but that makes you a bigot.
No,
No,
I feel
I was just
fair-
underlining an insane
I
idea.
know that, but I'm feeling that you can say and think and mean what you want, but nature has a rather simple explanation to it.
Oh yes.
Gender is what creates new offspring to further the race. And the last I checked, I don't know what the genders are, to be honest, but you need a male and you need a female, and you don't need a... Tell me a gender, man. Tell me a gender.
Gender fluid. That was the like. If you want to see the insanity of this whole debate going, there's a podcast called Radio Labs. They're pretty good and they're pretty progressive. They're like far left liberals and shit. And they had at some point in time they invited someone that was the gender fluid. And honest to God, when I listened to that person, I was like, this guy suffers from multiple personality syndrome. Like he definitely, because it was like, now I'm Jane, now I'm a woman, and 5 minutes later now I'm Jake, now I'm a guy, and I was like, swapping between personalities like that doesn't send me to the thing that he's a gender fluid person. He sends me to think that he's a person that's suffering from multiple personality disorder. That has nothing to do with the sex.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I think the issue here is that people are starting to mix the concept of gender with the concept of gender identity. Because gender is gender, it's the biological nature aspect of male and female. Gender identity is what you identify as. You can identify as a lot of things. I could identify as a god if I wanted to, because that is how I could theoretically see myself. But it doesn't mean I was born as a god.
True.
I wasn't born with divine powers. I could identify as a cat, but even if I walk on all four and says meow, it doesn't mean I'm an actual cat.
Exactly, but usually that's the thing, because up until, I don't know, 5 years ago, people would look at you saying that you're a cat, and you'd walk up on your four limbs and say meow, and they would say, yeah, you're batshit crazy and you need treatment for that. Right now, people are taking that in consideration in a serious note.
I know, and I think that is where society is trying to appease every single person in a society without actually being critical in regards to how sane are you really if you walk around on all fours saying meow. Now, if you identify with it and what you do for yourself, that's fine, but we should never teach that a cat person is a gender, because the last time I checked, a male and a cat person
Cannot procreate.
cannot create cats.
Exactly. Like, I understand your point of view. It's fantastic. Like, I think you're the first Scandinavian person, I'm going to use this term, Scandinavian progressive person I have a conversation with, and you're way more centrist than I believed.
Oh, I'm a very conservative person in terms of how do I explain it? Norway in general is a very left type of, we're open-minded in that sense, and we're very socialist in nature, but I tend to be more on the conservative scale because, well, mostly just my personal opinions doesn't align with, like, let's say it like this. Norway has the idea of the state should take care of everyone. I'm of the and today there was like a research saying that in terms of immigration, immigrants end up taking jobs that in the past poor Norwegians would get. Now, I have nothing against immigration, unlike some extreme conservatives. I in fact think that immigration is a good thing. But I think that if you, Manis, came to Norway not knowing a speck of Norwegian, and let's say you couldn't speak English either, let's say you knew only Romanian and came here, and then you managed to get a job over a Norwegian that has spent 10 years in school, mandatory school, knows the culture well, knows the language well, and you still get the job in front of the Norwegian guy, then you fucking deserve that job.
Yeah, I understand. You're 100% agree. I actually know someone that is in that situation. I know a guy that was part of one of the soccer football teams here in Bucharest gallery. He went to Oslo on a trip with the football team and he stayed there. He didn't came back. He didn't talk an ounce of Norwegian. He could not understand a single word in English, and he started selling empty bottles, like empty glass bottles that he would find in trash. And right now he's married, he has 2 kids, and he owns a house somewhere in Oslo.
Yeah. I mean, once you get adjusted to the culture, the language and all that, it's easy to make a living. But I'm of the opinion that if you as a Norwegian cannot beat an immigrant that don't speak the language, don't know the culture, then you fucking suck at doing whatever the hell you were trying to do. And then the immigrant deserves the job. I
agree.
Like, when I hear a teenager says that he wants to live on social security benefits because he doesn't want to work, then I'm of the mind, well, then you shouldn't get money from the state. Then you should be forced to work.
Well, wait a second, because there's a big distinction you need to make there, because you said the key phrase teenager.
Okay.
Like teenagers are teenagers. Teenagers will not understand a lot of shit.
I mean after the age of 18, because that's usually when you... In Norway, you have to go to school until you're 15, 16 in lower secondary school.
Yeah,
then you get free upper secondary school, which is the pre-university thing, so high school?
Yeah, high school, yeah.
You can get high school for free, no problems. You are entitled to at least one of your choices. So you will go to a school of your choice, or like a study of your choice. And if you finish that, then you got like some form of competency.
Exactly the same thing happens in Romania. Like you have grade school, middle school and high school completely free of charge, no questions asked. It's mandatory by law to finish 10 classes. That is grade school, that is middle school, and that is 2 years of high school.
So what happens here is that after you finish at 18 or 19, you have the choice of going to university or college, or you can start internships if you took more vocational studies.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you will start, and unless you take more studies or internships, you start working at 18, 19. And there's been, since we have so much social benefits, it became a slang term to literally stay at home, fuck about, game, and do stuff for younger males, and not actually work, because the state took care of you and tried to look for work for you, while you could end up just like fucking up the work replacement and such. So in my eyes, when I hear that, I say fuck them. If these people don't want to work, then have them die in their homes without money because they are unnecessary for society. I have a sister. She got a brain tumor when she was 14, 15, and when they had to slice that away, parts of her cognitive functions was seriously impacted, so she has problems working. She can
Yeah,
she
but
struggles with peeling a potato, but she can drive a car. She can do knitting, but focusing for a long period of time is difficult. But she's been working ever since she's 18, just in a reduced capacity.
yeah, but
She doesn't have to work a day in her life because she's so damaged from her operation, which
yeah,
was the
that's
fault of
that's
the
what I wanted
doctor.
to say, because she falls under the whole idea of disability. Like she can
Yeah.
easily take advantage of the disability welfare programs that your country offers, and there are a lot of them, and just live a peaceful and happy and carefree life.
But she doesn't. She works 40%, so 2 days a week in a pet shop, and she's happy with that because even if she's like disabled in terms of non-disabled human beings, she wants to work. She wants to contribute, and then I don't see she and other disabled people, they deserve the benefits. Not going to say anything about that. But the people that are too lazy to work, I say fuck them.
That's the
But
thing. Like
That's what makes me conservative in Norway.
yeah, but this is a part where I a bit disagree with you, and I disagree with you in the terms that I'm 100% I'm 100% certain that those kids, because again there are kids that think that way, they just do not understand the meaning of life and what is meaningful in life. Because that's the problem. Like, it's the whole hedonistical system of our society today that not imposes, that impresses the idea that you live to fuck, you live to drink, and you live to have fun, and that happiness comes from, you know, hedonistical entertainment, which is not true.
But if you think about it, these people want to live relaxed lives because they know that it's an option. I mean, I work full time. I don't think I have a stressful life in the sense that I end work at 4 o'clock. That's fine. I work more per week than most Norwegians because I get so many holiday weeks. So, but I still end work at 4 o'clock, and I don't think I have a stressful life. I have like 8 hours of spare time after I end work. It's not like your life is forfeit just because you have to work, but these people do not want, because they know they have the option to stay at home if they cheat this.
Then that's because they think that staying at home and cheating the system and not working is going to give them happiness in life. Trust me, it only gives them depression. Like, they will not end up in a good place.
They will locked up at home without a social network, experiences grow as people, and then they will end up being depressed. I agree.
Exactly.
But if the opportunity of thinking I can cheat the system is the issue, then you should remove the ability to cheat the system and rather spend time teaching them.
I think that's
actually be.
I think that's the answer. I think if people, and most of it, the education system, cause there's a whole lapse in the education system right now, and I think the only country that actually managed to figure out how to adapt their education system to today's society in a meaningful way is Finland, because they have an extremely positive and successful resulting education system.
The stupidity there is that Norwegian politicians go to Finland and then they listen to what the Finns has to say, and then they cherry pick what they like to hear and then ignore the rest.
Yeah.
So they want to like adapt essential things A and B, but not C to Z.
Actually, it's even worse than that. I think they just want to adapt the essential parts of C through Z without of the foundation of A and B. The
So,
thing
like,
is, like, as far as I said, one of the worst parts, or one of the worst results of us being a less spiritual society, which we are, because we are way further from the religious and the faith base systems we had up until about 150 years ago, is this: the very hard nihilism we found ourselves in the very heavy hedonistical culture we find ourselves in, and that is bad, because the results, we can see them. We see them in ourselves, and we see them in the people around us, and we see it in the coldness of the humans we have to interact with, and everyone that is so selfish and self-centered, and no one giving a damn about anyone else except for themselves. This is
That I think is very dependent on culture and where you live and how you are, though. I'm not sure if all of that would apply to Norway in general.
It does, and unfortunately, I can prove it to you that it does. I can prove it to you through the statistics of depression that are pretty high in Norway and all the Scandinavian countries.
Oh yeah, but depression is multifaceted, though.
Oh yes, it is. But you must admit that usually people, when they find a true meaning of their own life, they're less inclined, or the chances of them becoming depressed are very strongly diminished. And if you look in countries like Japan and Korea, that have a very different structure of society, that is way more based on community than the Western cultures, you see a lot less of that depression happening.
Yeah, but you see an extreme growth of suicides, though, because their society is built around concepts like honor, shame,
exactly,
and also work and study ethics.
Yeah.
There was Justina's family she's originally Chinese, but they settled in Singapore, so she got linked newspaper article from her brother that still lives in Singapore, and it was about how a mother had caned her son for getting marks below 70. So like he had gotten like a 53, and for every mark under 70 she had whacked him with a cane 17 times. And the mother couldn't understand what the hell she did wrong, because she only beat her son lightly with a rod.
Yeah, again, there's an insane thing.
There is you have to perform, you have to pretty much live up to your family's standards. You have to be excellent at something, and if you're not excellent, then you're not worth anything.
Again, there's a lot of insanity in that system as well, and I'm not thinking or proposing we should copy it, but what I'm proposing and thinking is that we should all strive to find meaning in what we do, and you cannot find meaning in not doing anything.
I'm just saying that community in Asian countries, true, you're not wrong about that one, but that also can end up in horrible ways, because again, just
look at North Korea.
It's a fundamentalist country, and their views on raising children, for instance, or treating human beings are horrible. And the things that she's talked to me about her childhood and how things happened in society, horrible.
Again,
depression,
take a look at North Korea.
Something you just get from hedonistic lifestyles and such.
Oh no.
I'm
not saying that you do.
I've been drunk on one hand. I don't get drunk. Sometimes I drink. I don't drink a lot, and I've certainly haven't had a drink for quite a while. In the past, I used to drink, but I never drank until I got drunk. The entire party aspect as well. Sure, it's common in Norway as well, but it's not something that necessarily was big in my life. But I still developed depression and stress issues for completely unrelated things. And just looking at statistics for A and B and drawing a parallel to lifestyles is dangerous, because at least from the studies I see from Norwegian census agencies, I think that's the right term, they tend to paint a more nuanced picture.
Oh, of course they do. Like again, like you shouldn't look at, you shouldn't take what I'm saying at complete face value, because this is more or less a boiled down version of what I'm thinking. Is, let's face it, like we do not have the comfort and ability of spending the next 6 hours into an in-depth discussion about all these things. We can, if you want to do
true.
this. I'm
No,
completely
I don't have
open
time
to
for
it.
that. I was I think like 2 hours ago I was planning to play Heroes of the Storm, and now
Exactly.
I'm looking at the clock and thinking, in 1 hour I have to go to sleep.
Exactly. So
It's
that, and like, if you want to have this conversation on a deep dive, I'm completely open to it. I'm looking
No,
forward,
no,
because
I've just enjoyed the conversation. Sorry.
but the thing is, like what I'm saying is like a boiled version of the data that I absorbed through the time, and what I've noticed and what I've seen within myself and within my friends, and by sharing stories and experiences with people like you from another culture and another side of the earth, more or less. And I can tell you that the whole problem that we are facing today, because there's people in Romania, and there have been reportages and journal newspapers written about 20 to 30-year-olds saying that, why should I work? Like, I have a kid and I can have a family and I can live off welfare and I'm fine. But most of those people are not actually happy. Like, if you boil it down and you take a deep look at them, they're just hedonistically living from one thrill to the next, without having a deep sated happiness and meaningfulness to them. And that meaningfulness can only be achieved through excellence and work and mastery. And that's a thing that I think there's a Protestant church that figured it out very well. I'm not exactly certain. Lutherans, I think, have it. Like they have the whole concept of redeem yourself through work. Like the gates of heaven will open up only through work. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because we're Lutheran.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and that mindset always brings a deep sated satisfaction to people, and that's what teens today miss, actually.
The thing is, like, most of my views on what I say about teens is based on me actually
interacting with them.
tutoring kids between the ages of like 13 to 16, and I think the common denominator about the people that wants to live on welfare and isolate themselves, it's not necessarily because of lifestyles and stuff. I think the common denominator is that at the base of things, they have not gotten enough attention at home. So they've been... I don't know how to explain it in English, but I think you can agree with me that having a solid relationship with your parents is important, correct?
Yes, 100%.
And also having parents being involved in the development of the child is something that's essential.
Agreed.
And some of the common denominators I've seen is that the people that ends up falling outside of the standard norm of being motivated to work and grow as a person tend to be the people that have had a stunted growth because parents haven't involved themselves, sadly.
Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're talking about, but I don't think that's the only reason.
To solve the issue, I think you should put more focus on actually trying to help these children, and like put more focus on actually giving them the attention they deserve, and try to be a bit more mindful of like the system picking up on them early, so they don't have to go through their lives feeling
disenchanted.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
That's more important, I think.
It's a very important part, but I don't think it's the only important part.
I think it's a multi-layered problem.
Yeah, it is a multi. I am 100% certain that society, as like the cultural society we live in, I'm talking here about music and TV shows and movies that depict a certain part of life in a certain manner that is also not very good for our own development and our children's development. Another part part of it that plays a major part of I'm really bad at English right now, is social media, which is a bane on our society, whether we accept it or not.
Like everything you just said, I completely agree with that. But the issue is that I don't know how to get rid of the issue, because quite frankly, it seems like it's easy to say, look at social media and say it's a bane on our society, and it is. But the sad thing is that it's likely just a stepping stone to something worse in the future that will be even more excessive.
Oh yeah, that's true, and I shudder at the thought of us living in a Black Mirror kind of society where your actions are voted up or down on whatever other people think. And you know what the episode I'm talking about from Black Mirror?
No, I've never seen the show.
Oh, you should see Black Mirror. Oh god.
It's like I have a very limited amount of time to distribute between entertainment.
You should
so
see
when I do
Black Mirror.
distribute it, it's like
like Black Mirror is a major thing that you need to see, because it dwells in some moral issues we're having, and some of the discussions we're actually having right now, including like the whole social media thing. Orville had an episode, a similar episode, where they visited a planet in which people were doing like votes up and down on your behavior, and you were treated based on the number of votes you had. Like, those kinds of things are fucking insane, and it's happening right now in our society. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, look at Louis C.K. and you'll see that. Look at Harvey Weinstein and you'll see that. Look at Kevin Spacey and you'll see that. All three cases, whether rightful or not, were judged in the eyes of the populace, not in the eyes of a justice system.
Yep.
And while, for example, Louis C.K. was not as egregious as Harvey Weinstein, he got the same treatment.
Yep.
And that is.
And then you also had like almost like deification of people that ended up coming forth with their experiences, and they were like uplifted for speaking out and such. Because there was that one woman who ended up being like super critical in Cannes, that Italian broad, like Asia something. She ended up being like outed herself as someone that had sexual relations with minors, literally molesting children. And that's like, she goes from being deified for talking about the #MeToo experiences into being outed as someone herself that has done the exact same thing.
Exactly.
And then it's just literally hypocrisy and word against word, without no court of law making judgments. It's just a court of popularity.
Yeah, and that's a dangerous stepping stone, and I think social media is a very important part in that process. Plus, another important part of what I think social media does, except for the fact that it's fucking dangerous, as in, you know, it's designed to be addictive. Like, and it wasn't that bad when we didn't have smartphones. Like, if you went back in 2004 and you had the Facebook account and you spent like half an hour browsing Facebook every day, that was not a problem. But when you have a smartphone and you have that same fucking Facebook on your smartphone, and you can be linked to it like 100% of the time to it wherever you go, now that's fucking dangerous.
Like, I had a conversation about one of my students, because like she was talking about how she mentioned how important likes were for her, and I didn't understand the words she was saying, because in my mind you like something when you actually like something, but in her mind she would like everything anyone put out because she felt like it was a way of being accepted by others. But then you don't actually... It's so against the...
Oh, I can explain that. It's simple. These are people, and yeah, it happens especially at kids, especially at underage minors, or especially at girls with the ages between 10 and 16, where they equate their self-worth based on the number of likes, because you can have a quantifiable amount of appreciation from other people that you can translate it into your own self-worth. You can see that with Ronda Rousey.
I get that concept, but a like is you actually liking something. If you end up pressing like on everything just for validation points, then what is the value of a like?
It's simple.
If you like something you don't actually like.
I understand your point. You're talking about the devaluation of the concept of liking something. Yeah, but that's the thing, because it does not translate into that on Facebook.
No, I'm merely saying that the issue here is that you're hunting for validation in some totally arbitrary number based on how many people have seen you say something.
Yes, that's true.
And if your only way of finding validation is having someone read what you've said, then there's no wonder why we're fucked up, because you're seeking validation in the most impersonal arena possible. I would say that getting validation from someone in your life, whether it's a pat on your back from a coach or from your teacher or a friend or parents,
yeah,
it will be worth 10,000 likes.
Indeed, it is. But again, that's not how that's not how these children equate it towards social media, because they equate it to their own self-worth. And let's be honest, like after the age of, I don't know, 6 or 7, humankind is usually striving to get approval in their social circles rather than their parents. That's a thing that happens naturally. It's not something you can control over it. The problem is that social media is taking advantage of that change, and it translates it into direct self-value and self-worth propositions. And then you have this whole fucked up dynamic happening inside the mind of children.
Yeah,
Funny enough,
what's even more scary for me, I think, is that social media tends to glorify the stupidity of society rather than the brilliance of society.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to give you a podcast with from someone that you're going to enjoy, and
oh, I don't have time to listen to podcasts, so that's absolutely, I wouldn't have time to listen to that, sorry.
I know what you're talking about, but trust me, you'd better make some time and listen to it whenever you can, because it's like the guy who invited here. Wait. It's Jonathan Haidt, and he actually wrote a book about social media and how it interferes with... Wait, because I can't keep PTT as well. Give me a moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I gave you the link on Battle.net. So he actually wrote a book about the dangers of social media, and he had a deep dive between it, and he brings up data and statistics with stuff like the increase of self-mutilation in teenage girls with the age between 12 and 16 increased by 300% between the years of 2009 and today, rather than the previous generation from 1999 to 2009. It was an increase of 300% of self-mutilation and self-harm inflicted injuries in teenage girls, and that is mostly due to social media and smartphones.
And that is fucked up.
Yeah, and we've seen at least 20% increase in depression rates due to social media and no, actually not social media, it's social media on smartphones, because it's a combination of, like, each of them individually are not necessarily harmful, but both of them added together are where the real dystopian shit kicks in.
Yeah, I just, like, one of my students pointed out, and I found this incredulous, that apparently the most popular, most liked Instagram picture is of a fucking egg. And I'm thinking to myself, an egg. The world, the global social media network has now decided that an egg is the most liked picture in existence on social medias.
Yeah,
And,
but
like,
that's also
then I
that.
asked the
Wait a
stupid
second,
question,
'cause
what
there's
is
a
the
lot of
second and
trollers.
third?
There's a lot of
Celebrity
trolling
baby.
in there.
And I'm thinking to myself, is this the glorification you would want in a society? Sure, I guess that the egg thing is for fun, but think about all the other things that end up being glorified in social media, whether it is trends, appearances, and such. No wonder people start going to self-harm themselves. If you're a young girl looking at all of these incredibly difficult standards to achieve.
Yeah, that's true. But again, the whole thing with the egg, it's a lot of trolling as well. Like, you don't necessarily need to go
Oh, yeah,
and
I
read
said-
into it.
I said, like, I get that, but, like, the concept still remains. Think about all the people that are celebrities that are actually not famous for having done something special.
Oh, like Kim Kardashian?
No, anyone that is a, what is the term? Influencers?
Yeah.
Why
Well,
the
some of
hell
them-
have
no,
influencers become... all they do is post on social media of different aspects of life in their daily life or views.
Well, the term of influencer is like really broad and encapsulates people that have both worked a lot to get to that level to become an influencer. Like, for example, Marcus Brownlee is an influencer, like the guy that has that YouTube channel talking about tech and does reviews on phones and such, but that guy worked his fucking ass off in order to become the person he is right now, and there is a certain etiquette and there's a certain ethics behind his work, and you can it's tangible. You can watch his work and you can understand where his ethics and where his morals fall upon that work. And I'm not talking like ideology, I'm talking about like the amount of time invested in his videos to make sense, to be well documented and to be well researched. And he has on his what's it called, on his reviews, there's reasoning behind it, you know. And that guy is an influencer, but at the same time you have Kim
Fair,
Kardashian.
but then I would ask you, what do you think the ratio is of people like that compared to the people that are just whoring trends? Not trending whores, but
yeah, whoring
the
trends.
trends themselves.
Yeah, I understand what they're saying. I think there's some of them, but I don't think they're a majority.
No, I would think the people that you describe that work hard is a vast minority. Like, if I ask, if you ended up judging every person in the broad argument of influencer, of the question, who actually has value to society as a whole? The person you described would probably have a value for society in some aspect, but I still struggle to see how any Kardashian has a value for society.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. That's the question that follows up, is how many Kardashians are out there? Because what I expect, or what I suspect, is that not so fucking many.
I don't know.
Like, that's the thing, because if you look at some particular, for example, music rock stars, like what's the name of the guy that's the father of Liv Taylor, the lead singer for Aerosmith?
Steven Taylor?
Oh yeah, Steven Taylor. So if you look at him, he's a fucking crazy dude. Like he pours, like, the amount of drugs he pours into himself is fucking insane. Him and Keith Richards, the guy from
Rolling Stones.
Yeah. But on the other hand, they're both of them, while batshit crazy, and you cannot just like follow what they do or listen to anything they say outside of their music and make sense or be able to follow it. But at the same time, the value they bring to society and to culture through the music they do is incommensurable. True? And the same thing with actors. You can, for every single Lindsay Lohan, which is a batshit little crazy chick high on drugs, you have a Morgan Freeman, and then you have a Forrest Whitaker, and then you have I don't know, Patrick Stewart and the Sarian McKellen, that outweigh them in every single facet through mastery and excellence.
But those are aspects of culture, though. I would say music, art, entertainment, in terms of such, they have been something we've had for millennia. I would not call social media culture. I wouldn't call it art forms. I would call it rather the struggling to find words again. Decay of society, rather. There's probably cultural aspects to social media as well. But when you think social media, you don't think an improvement of society or improvement of culture.
True, that is true, but at the same time there's a lot of art found on social media as well. Like
sure, it's great for spreading art, it's great for spreading culture, but social media itself is only... I think social media should be a distribution network, not a cultural entity with its own life, because it's not beneficial for society for it to be that way.
Yeah, but the thing
becomes the Ultron of culture.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I see your point, and I agree with it. And I don't know how you can stop it, because for every single good thing that happens out of social media, there's also the backlash of it having like 100 rednecks being batshit crazy and doing like really stupid shit.
And the one thing that has like become prominent, at least in Norway, is that with the advent of social media and the advent of the world being less isolated from each other, but now everyone has a arena to speak out. Even the loonies has a chance to speak out.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
true.
have a easier way of organizing themselves
and finding themselves in echo boxes
yeah.
and echo chambers. Yeah, that's another problem that social media has. And actually, that's actually this is the thing. This is not the problem of social media per se. It's the problem of the algorithm that social media is built upon, that creates the echo chambers in which we found ourselves without any kind of way of having discourse and debates that leads to anything else but seclusion of the individual within their groups. And
as I say, I think it would be a good distribution platform for certain things. I just think social media is horrible as a living entity, because its applications as a distribution network is... Have you ever played Mass Effect?
yeah, I did. All three of them.
Do you remember the difference between a WEI and a AI? Virtual intelligence is like logical intelligence, like a logical computer script or computer program, but it's still hardware, while artificial intelligence is like self-thinking, self-conscious and all that.
You're thinking the difference between the Revenants and the Geth?
No, I'm thinking like the Citadel had that computer program that could tell you everything about the Citadel and culture.
Ah, yeah. Mm-hmm,
but it was still a computer script.
Yeah.
While the Reapers and all that, they were AI. self-thinking, self-serving.
Yeah, I understand that. That's the thing, because you had that program on the Citadel that was basically a navigator that helped you
Yeah.
with some things, but that did not have any conscience, and or so you could not actually call it an AI.
No, it was a VI, a virtual intelligence.
Oh yeah.
It was virtually intelligent, but it was still scripted. And I think social media would function well as a VI, like a network.
Well, it does.
For
Like
you
right
to
now,
spread things.
right now, that's exactly what it does.
But actually, I'm starting to think that it has starting to be growing into an AI.
Oh no,
that
no.
It's starting to influence culture itself by making, like, when I say VI, I mean social media is spreading culture. When I say AI, I mean social media is becoming culture.
I understand what you're saying, but keep in mind the fact that the social media right now it functions on a set of algorithms that are designed to work in such a way. Like, it's not a natural evolution of a system going into that direction, like the Geth, because the Geth were constructed to be something, and they evolved into becoming a power, right? Like the Cylons in Battlestar Galactica. They were constructed to help humanity, and they evolved into the silent threat of humanity. Social media it was constructed to do exactly this. Like the whole concept behind Cambridge Analytics that helped win Trump's 2016 election and the Brexit campaign was based on how the algorithms of sharing and viralization on Facebook worked, and on Twitter. Like that,
Yeah, sure.
they were gaming
But
their own system, basically.
I would still say that that is just one aspect of social medias, though, because yeah, sure, you can analyze trends and whatnot, and that would equate it to a VI, but I think that social media, like, you could turn off a VI. Do you really think it's possible to turn off social media? Like,
Yes.
get rid of it for good?
Yes,
Okay.
I am definitely certain of it, and I think there's it's not something we're going to see in the next 5 years, and it's something that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. But it's a problem that we as humanity are going to solve it, mostly because right now, since it doesn't actually have a life of its own, and since it is driven by the whims and designs of its creators, it can be controlled and modeled and merged into something else. I couldn't tell you which is the solution right now, because there's a lot more smarter people thinking about this than I am, and didn't come up with a good solution. But I trust that we will find a way of changing it. I would not be surprised if we will see stuff like the legalization of social media sometime down the line completely.
The
But
thing is, though, yeah, I mean, I get that it's still possible, but there's always going to be that point of no return, where it becomes impossible to actually outlaw social media, because suggesting it would create such a backlash that they wouldn't get the political capital to actually go through
like
change.
let me put it this way: if God forbid a civil war starts in the United States between the lefties and the righties, and there's a lot of people dying, and you can draw a direct line between that and social media, trust me, you're going to see like backlash against social media fast. Because that's the thing, like you didn't see a disaster big enough to change it. That's the problem, or sort of.
The way I see it, though, is that the people that understands the danger of social media, or will be able to perceive the dangers related to social media, they will be heavily outnumbered by the amount of people that actually don't see the issue, that constantly uses social media, and that finds entertainment within social media. And assuming this doesn't happen violently, in terms of politics, the party with the most votes end up being able to influence politics most of the time.
Keep in mind another thing. We are going to see a change in technology soon, like rather soon.
That's true, but still,
And
it's hard to predict what becomes popular technology or not.
True. Let's give an imagination exercise and think about the neural link system that Elon Musk is proposing and working on. Like, if you have a way of jacking your brain directly into a computer and communicating with other people through that medium in thought system, like through direct images and through direct feelings and through direct sounds, social media will be fastly outdated and become obsolete in that point.
Oh sure, but like then it becomes a question of how fast can you apply that and what would be the I mean, like, I'm not saying that social media is here to stay forever, because of course it will outgrow its use and it will become yet another fad that dies
Exactly.
within X amount of years. Like, for instance, what's happening to Facebook now. But at the end of the day, the question is if the new thing builds on the core lessons made from social media as a fad, or whether or not it's a radical detour from what social media is today.
That's the thing, is I expected that, for example, going back 10 years ago, like literally in 2009, I did not have a smartphone. I had the Nokia N95, which was a phone that didn't have a touch screen, that didn't have a powerful CPU, that didn't have 4K resolution and such, and I don't think it had the internet connection. Tell you the truth.
No, I mean I was the same. I didn't have a smartphone with an internet connection until the Galaxy S2 in 2010-11ish.
Exactly.
And like and once I started using that, it was like a revolution. I knew at that moment I would never go back to anything else than a smartphone. And I could never have predicted that in 2006 when I was 18.
But keep in mind that just as well, in 10 years from now, we could face the new complete technology that can change the way we communicate and we interact with other people in such a way that smartphones and social media today would become so obsolete, no one is going to give it another thought.
Indeed, but I cannot perceive what that kind of technology...
Oh, neither can I.
And so it's like I get that social media is likely living on borrowed time because it cannot withstand the evolution of technology and society. But
exactly.
The question is if the new fad builds on social media. As you mentioned before, it's addictive. It has properties meant to lull the masses.
Yeah,
and
if
the new technology has the same core conceptuality, since that's the lesson what tech developers got from social media, then the new fad could be equally problematic.
Not necessarily. Like, I think it depends a lot on the nature of that new fad, of that new technology. And I think it depends a lot on the possibility that that's opened by it, because right now there's a lot. For example, it's a lot of confusion when you, for example, write a Twitter post of 144 characters and you try to express a difficult or a problematic social idea, and there's no way you can express it in 140 characters and make sense and go in a deep dive of that meaning of what you mean and what you understand through it, and the questions you arise from it. If that question will be put 50 years ahead of our time through a neural link, through where you can actually send your feelings and emotions to the listener, then situations like the confusion made by social media today will not arise anymore. This is just a very abstract example, but I hope it makes the point clear.
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. I don't get me wrong, I completely... It's just... when thinking about the future, it's always so. It's impossible to perceive what the likely outcome is. But as a historian, one of the things I tend to learn is that people never learn from the past. Past mistakes will always repeat itself. Maybe not on the same scale, maybe not in the same way, but lessons are rarely learned. And like take the like flashback to the abortion thing. At some point in the future, that might become come full circle again. Just that because once people start forgetting about the horrors of Soviet rule, maybe the debate will take a different turn.
True, but on the other hand, I think there's some things that are not. There are some things you cannot take back. For example, like Romania, or better said, the principalities of Romania, not very far from here. Like I'm talking about the 1800, we still had pretty much slaves. Like let's not beat around the bush. Like the peasants of Romania were not allowed to leave their the terrain they were working on, and they were not allowed to travel, and they didn't have the right to vote, and they didn't have a say in what happens to them, and only the feudal lords were deciding everything. And then the Industrial Revolution happened. Like, do you really think we can ever go back to a feudal system before the Industrial Revolution? Well, without, you know, completely nuking ourselves to oblivion.
When you added the without nuking ourselves, I think it's very possible that we'll end up with slavery in the future. Because with diminishing resources and increasing demands, it is a possibility that more and more wars will break out, and one of the easiest way to get manpower and grow as a nation is, you know, forced labor.
Yeah, but I don't think that's possible. Like I don't think I do not believe the whole limited resources thing, in the way that while the resources on Earth are, yes, limited, and if we are thinking about fossil fuel as being a limited resources that people are craving for, let's be honest, in the next 100 years no one is going to use fossil fuels anymore, and most likely in the next 100 years we will start having mining operation in the asteroid belt, and we will start having we will start generating resources outside of our planet.
I mean, like, if you can get to that point where you can harvest resources from other areas of our solar system, then sure, I totally agree with you. That will buy some time to not cause that decay. But, and this is the important part, it's pretty obvious to everyone that not every country will have the financial possibility to actually do that out there in the solar system. There will be a limited few amount of nations with the technology, experience, and the money to go through with that. And they will sell the resources for a high price on the market, I imagine.
I think actually, like, you're thinking countries, I'm thinking corporations. And I'm not exactly sure which one of them is scarier.
I can guarantee you straight away that the larger nations wouldn't. Like, if corporations are allowed, they will be wholly controlled by the government they are registered in. Because
I don't think so.
No way in hell they would privatize that until they could exploit it with nations themselves.
Well, think of it like this: you already have entities like Apple that does not play well with governments.
Yeah.
Like, and they're resisting government everywhere that they can, and this is just like one single example of the top of my mind, because if we deep dive it in it, we will find another 100 corporations that do the same thing. And you already see private enterprises like Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, opened his own spaceport somewhere in the United States.
I mean, sure, but
rivaling Cape Canaveral.
Once they go to that step, and
We're
then
already
start
there.
harvesting resources outside of Earth. I would think at least the more important nations will band together and make some form of agreement there.
True. Most
I mean,
likely, yes.
if you have the is it G8 or G9 now?
G7, I think.
Oh, it's 7 now. Okay, I would imagine the G7, or if nothing else, the United Nations, would want to have a word with how resources are being managed out in space. Because privatizing rare materials like that never ends.
Well, see, because that's the thing. Like, I don't think they have a choice. Like, you have SpaceX, which is a privately run enterprise that already has space travel in their pockets, and you'll have Amazon going into the same route this year. Like, it's a definite thing. Jeff Bezos did buy and start his own spaceport. So, and I don't think you can stop them anymore. Like,
Of course you can.
I don't think so. Like, okay, you stop them from doing it in the United States, and they go to Kazakhstan, and they're like, okay, I'm going to move my operations to a third world country that cannot wait to open its doors to me just to feed the money. What are you going to do? Shoot my satellites down from the sky? Shoot down the robots? I don't. You do that. Like the moment
I'm
you do
talking
that.
about a situation where they would change legislature to make things illegal, and then act rather extremely to enforce things. Because if they're really not wanting privatization of space, then they will enforce that. First they'll change legislature to give them legal rights, and then they'll enforce it heavily. And whether that is arresting Jeff Bezos and the rest of the top
Amazon
executives of Amazon, or it's like shooting down the satellites, closing down the ports, make it globally illegal to do it, in the same way they banned quite a number of things like biochemical weapons, for instance. It doesn't matter. If the world and the largest powers as a whole see a problem with privatization of it, they will change the laws to ban it.
Honestly, because the thing is, I think that's a better situation, because governments can be held accountable by their own citizens. That is important, while corporations cannot be held accountable by mostly anyone except, you know, their own board of administration, so that they're only profit driven.
If you had a choice, would you want privatization run by companies like Apple, Samsung, SpaceX, Amazon? Would you rather want nations, or would you want the United Nations to do it?
I would want nations, because
yeah, I would not want private companies doing it.
no, I would
Nations,
definitely
sure.
not want private companies, and I am not exactly certain I would like something like the United Nations to deal with it, because an organism so, not necessarily so big, but so multi-structural, layered on top of the superstructures of nations, is so far-flung from the citizen that again cannot be held accountable. Like, do you know who the president of the United Nations is right now? Because I don't. And if we don't even know who the president of the United Nations is, how would you know what his principles are? How would you know what his policies are? How would you know what he's trying to change? See my point? So I'm not exactly comfortable with a superstructure on top of nations, but I'm not comfortable with private companies either, because Apple has anti-suicide nets on their factories, and I don't want those people to be in charge with spacefaring.
Okay, first of all, I don't know the name of the dude that took over from Ban Ki-moon. I remember he was like a Portugal dude. So, Jose Portugalizo or whatever I don't know his name, but I know he came from Portugal.
Yeah, but you get my point. Like, you can't really put your finger on who runs the United Nations right now.
No, I know, but let's
Like,
say
how will you
they
keep
had,
them
like,
accountable?
form of a council, and then they mined out resources, pooled them in, and then sold them, or on auction, for instance, to membership countries. That would be one way of doing it. Cumbersome, probably prone to
Corruption.
exploitation, corruption, and
yeah.
all that crap. But I would really not want a situation where one country starts to try to monopolize things either.
Well,
And
the funny thing is that you already have that. Like, you already have China doing it. Like, China said...
There's actually legislation out there saying that you cannot colonize space for your own country. No one can land on Mars and say Mars belongs to the United States.
Fair
There
point.
are
Did anyone inform the Chinese?
international legislation in place to prevent
Did
that.
anyone inform the Chinese about that? Because they're planning of putting a military base on the moon.
Yeah, they can try to do that if they want to, but
Honestly, I think they like, without interference, I think they will. They have
I mean,
the
they can
financial
try
capacity.
to do that.
They have
That's
the
fine,
financial capability
they-
of doing it.
They do not have. How do you say this easily? They do not have words. Sorry. Because the US landed on the moon in 1969, they have right of discovery from how right of discovery historically has been in terms of precedence. So
Agreed, but
even if the Chinese started building a base in 2019, 50 years after, they wouldn't legally be allowed to own the moon.
I
Because it wasn't
understand.
discovered by them.
But the thing is, if they start building a military base on the moon and start shooting down anyone trying to get near to it, how is that going to solve it in a legal way? Like,
No way, but my argument there is, I would imagine that base would be bombed before it got built into such a state that it could actually shoot missiles.
hopefully, but
Like,
the thing is
the
how
first
things are right
moment
now.
Things are being built on the moon is the second Russia and the United States start doing the exact same thing.
And the European Union. Like,
Well,
let's
those
not
two,
ignore
yeah.
the EU.
ESA.
Because the ESA, yeah, exactly. The ESA is going to be a major player in this.
Also, I don't think it's going to help China very much when they get attacked down here on Earth, because I think we can all agree that the reason why the entire Star Wars program was dismantled and having space weapons platforms were stopped is because everyone sees the threat of having weaponizing space around the planet.
Yeah, but the thing is, people are changing their mind on that. Like, you have Donald Trump saying that he's going to build a space force. Like, space force is not going to be filled with flowers. It's going to be weaponized.
No, but then again, Donald Trump says a lot, so
Yeah,
like,
but this.
no, don't get me wrong. I get that there's a reality of him actually going through with things, and he's promising a lot of things, but it's hard to say in essence what becomes this or what becomes that, because
Well, when you have
if you
people
look
like
at
Neil deGrasse Tyson
What?
supporting him, like when you have people like Neil deGrasse Tyson supporting him, he gets he's not just a crazy maniac talking shit.
no, he is a crazy maniac talking shit.
That-
He just has reputable scientists backing
No,
him up.
it's not just that, because like he's not just a crazy maniac talking shit. He's a crazy maniac talking shit that is also the president of the United States, and he has the
Correct.
disponibility of doing the crazy shit he's talking about. Like, he has the nuclear football around him. That's not something we can deny. It's there. He
But,
can
like,
push the red button.
But at the end of the day, everyone realizes that it is an increase in hostility to where everyone understands there is a logical breaking point of how far you cannot push a limit.
Oh, I forgot
And-
something. Keep in mind, his Space Force thing was a reaction. Like he didn't come up
Oh,
with the
yeah, I
idea
know.
out of the blue. He said he came out with the idea of the Space Force after you had China developing anti-satellite missiles. Because that's where the problem started. Because you have China that definitely has the possibility of blowing down military satellites out of the sky right now,
But
and they did it.
brings me to my ultimate point, is that at the end of the day, you can threaten, you can develop, but the moment you start crossing the line is when you will have to. Can I link you a YouTube clip from a British show from some time ago?
Sure. Oh, by the way, I also linked you a link to YouTube Vans, to a guide on how to get YouTube Vans. I think you'd enjoy it. It's privately developed YouTube application that lets you run YouTube while your screen is off, amongst others, of your phone, like YouTube with no ads, and it has another number of features that are usually behind the paywall on regular YouTube.
There you go. It talks about. It's a British TV show about the Prime Minister having to decide about new nuclear missiles or not, in the likelihood of an attack from the
Soviet Union. I'll check it out as soon as we disconnect. As I said, like, what's going on?
Actually, that's the thing, though. It's like, you remember when I an hour ago said that I had to go to bed in an hour?
This is that hour.
It's like an hour. Sorry, it's like later for you than it is for me. But
Yeah, it's 1.5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I've had an enjoyable time, but
Same.
I need actual sleep.
No problem, we can pick this up at some other time. What I wanted to say is the problem, as I see it right now, is that we have a difference of governments. You have the Western governments, which to some extent are responsible and are accountable by their own population, and that is important because it has to reflect the moral values of that population. Otherwise it has no legitimacy and it will not stand up. And on the other hand, you have entities like the Chinese Communist Party that answers to absolutely fucking no one.
I agree.
And if they start militarizing space, you don't have a choice. Like, you cannot stop them because they're not going to be accountable to their own people. They're not going to be accountable to anyone else but sheer brute force. And you can either do one of two things. Attack them and try to put them out of power, which is not necessarily feasible or possible, especially considering they have nuclear capability, or arming up yourself in order to defend yourself. And I think the latter one is the situation we find ourselves today, and unfortunately, if steps aren't taken, we will find ourselves in a game of chicken with the Communist Party, with the Chinese Communist Party, and that's where we headed. Like, I see it happening.
I mean, like, literally, this is kind of the topic of the video I just linked you. I strongly recommend you to watch that clip.
I will.
It's
Like,
worth it.
as soon as we disconnect, I will watch it.
Yeah. I'll leave it with a note saying that, like, I agree with what you just said. It's just, I would continue the conversation if I could. I just have to get up.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. We'll pick it up at some other point.
Yeah.
It was a very enjoyable conversation. I
Indeed.
really enjoyed myself having this chat
Same.
with you.
It was a pleasant evening. Even got some of those
True.
achievements done and progress.
Indeed, progress.
So,
Can you still hear me?